That's one of the features here at Coors Field, the babbling brook out beyond the center field fence. It's a gorgeous stadium, Coors Field. Always has been a great place to come to here in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. The weather's been gorgeous here, temperature in the mid-70s. Well, starting pitchers don't generally talk the day that they pitch, so the best time to interview them is the day before they pitch. And so Chris Cotter decided to catch up with Dave Williams, the lefty who'll make his third start for the Mets tomorrow.
Dave, first of all, 2 starts here with the Mets. Talk about your experience and how you felt in both starts.
It's been great. I mean, on and off the field, it's been awesome experience so far. It's just a matter of staying consistent and, you know, not getting too far ahead of yourself to where you know, are thinking about, you know, start after start. You know, I'm going to take my start tomorrow and hopefully put something together to put us in a position to win.
This team has had a lot of young pitchers. Pitchers come from different teams that have really had success here. Do you think you feed off of seeing the success that some other young pitchers have had, and maybe it helps you a little bit?
You know, when I was down in Norfolk, you know, watching John Maine come there and pitch, and then getting called up, you know, and pitching really well, you know, and then myself getting called up, you know, it's kind of addicting, you know, when you know the guy before you pitches well, and then you know you kind of want to keep the momentum going, you know. So hopefully Trax can pitch good tonight, and then I can follow up, and we can get out of here with some wins. But you know, it's been great so far, and if you can't get up to pitch, you know, for the Mets, then you might as well go home. I mean, if you can't, especially at home. I mean, on the road, it's a little different, but you kind of feed off of, you know, their fans wanting you to do bad.
What do you do in between starts?
You know, I could do some running, do some working out, but I mean, the day before I pitch is more like just a relaxing day, you know, hydrate a little bit and, you know, just relax and hang out with your teammates a little bit. And then the day I pitch is, you know, obviously a little more intense, you know, try to get a game plan and get some rest.
Well, when the Mets acquired Dave Williams back in May, nobody knew he was going to be a factor at all for this team, but he's made 2 nice starts, 1-0, 3.75, and he'll get the ball tomorrow night in Game 2 of this series. From the Rocky Mountains, the Mets and the Rockies coming up from Coors Field. We'll have the first pitch in just a moment. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by ChevyOffers.com, the presenting sponsor of Baseball Night in New York. By Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By Honda, see your Honda dealer and discover the great values now being offered. By Subway, introducing the play of the day at Subway, a regular 6-inch sandwich for only $2.99. Try all 7. Subway, eat fresh. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. The humidor treated baseballs. Drawn some interesting comments from opposition players here. Jeff Cirillo, a former Rocky, said the ball seemed waterlogged as you look at Byung-Hyun Kim pitching for the Rockies tonight. And he's been very successful with those humid baseballs here at Coors. Checking out the Mets lineup, the standard group for the moment. Cliff Floyd began his rehab stint today down at Port St. Lucie. Andy Chavez thus remains in the lineup. And Andy has been doing a fabulous job filling in while Cliff has been out.
And Byung-Hyun Kim on the mound, 7-9. You see his numbers are not good. In the last 10 starts, that starts on July 1st. 2-5 in those 10 starts with an ERA over 6. So he's been struggling.
And Jose Reyes swinging at the first pitch of the game, fouls it back. The discussion today turned to how much rest Willie Randolph is going to give his players during the month of September. And Willie said, you can't ever imagine Jose Reyes ever being tired.
Or David Wright, for that matter. They're 23 years of age. It's the veterans that I think that they're going to spell a little more. Delgado. Beltran's 28, right in his prime. He shouldn't be tired.
And he thinks about bunting his way on, but can't touch that slider, and it's 0-2.
You've got to make sure that you keep everybody. I mean, it's easy to do. I mean, you can give him a spell here, give him a game off a week, or once every 7 games. That's not going to hurt you. But you also got some guys with some impressive numbers that might want to build on those numbers.
So Paul LaDuca waiting on deck. And Reyes bounces one down to Todd Helton, and that's the first out of the game. So 1 out and nobody on.
Jose Reyes hustles back into the dugout. We'll take a look at the Ford Rocky defense. The defense pretty much we saw in the 3-game series in New York, except for Mr. Matsui here. And he has been called up from Colorado Springs, their AAA affiliate. And this is his 6th game at second base. There's Kaz.
Kaz met with the New York media before the game tonight as Paul LaDuca takes a strike. And Kaz said of his troubles in New York, he said it was all my fault. I just didn't play well. Didn't want to put the blame on anybody else.
Kaz is a pretty upstanding guy.
He really is a very likable guy. It just didn't work out for him in New York, and you hope that he can find success here in Colorado or elsewhere. 1-1 to LaDuca. When Kaz first went down to Colorado Springs after the Mets traded him for Eli Marrero, he hurt his back and he was out for a month. And that's been the most startling thing about Kaz's big league time, as Kim throws the fastball by LaDuca.
I agree, is that he never was hurt in Japan and came over to the United States, New York City, and just a rash of injuries.
LaDuca feeling a little pain in that thumb on the swing and miss, and that's when it really bites him. Doesn't seem to bother him when he's hitting the ball.
Well, it's been with him for quite some time. It's not going to go away until it gets taken care of in the offseason.
And Kim misses with a fastball, 2-2.
And then we remember that we saw Kim in New York, a very strange delivery. His follow through very awkward. And our colleague Ron Darling said that because of that follow through, the big leg kick over.
Barmas near the bag, and he throws out LaDuca 2-way. We talked about the fact that not only have they changed the baseball here in terms of the way they're treating it, but that they've grown the grass longer on the infield. As an infielder, how does that impact you?
As a fielder?
Yeah.
Well, you can get to more balls, obviously, because it's like Wrigley Field. You can see there, it looks like the U.S. Open right there, and we're getting in the second cut there. So
here's Beltran with 2 out and nobody on. Carlos fouls it away. But can you play more shallow? Do you need to play more shallow because the grass is longer?
No, not at all. You can play normal depth. I always like to play deep on every infield. I felt like if I played deeper, I can cover more ground in the hole or down the line. If you got a speedy runner on, of course, a hitter up as Reyes, then you got to shorten up.
Because we'd figure that long grass would lead to successful bunting attempts, if nothing else.
Well, the bunts are going to be fielded by the corners. You know, it's only going to affect third base and first base. It's not going to affect shortstop or second base.
1-1 to Beltran, who has 38 home runs, matching his career high. 23 of those on the road, and that ties a Mets club record. As Beltran, with Delgado on deck, seeks to rewrite several pages of the Mets record book this year. 2-2 to Beltran. And you can throw in your favorite word, stark, there, looking at those home and road numbers.
They're stark, but the home numbers are coming up. I think he's over the hump.
Especially the home runs. And a walk-off home run at Shea during the last homestand. And on 2-2, Beltran bounces it foul.
Carlos is a high ball hitter from both sides of the plate, more so right-handed. Belt high and up, you're asking for trouble, big trouble.
And he hits it to deep center field. Sullivan back to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Carlos Beltran with a new career high, his 39th home run of the season. Now just 2 shy of the Mets club record. He sets a club record with his 24th home run on the road, sets a new career high with 109 RBIs, and to boot, he ties a club record by scoring a run in his 11th straight game.
Well, what a season he is having, an MVP season. And we're talking about belt high over the middle. Look at this. That's belt high, and that is right where he loves it. And look at his head down on that ball, hitting it right where it was pitched. And that is his happy area.
What an incredible season Carlos Beltran is putting together. And what a contrast to his first year as a Met as Delgado takes ball one. 39 homers, 109 RBIs, both new career highs. Scoring a run in 11 straight games. Derek Bell had set the Mets club record in 2000, and now Beltran has tied that. His 106th run scored. And you know what? He's been second or third behind Albert Pujols in slugging percentage in the National League all year. He's starting to close the gap. Delgado in a hot streak in his own right the last 2 weeks, and he takes a slider for a strike.
With a submariner like Kim, it's just with this lineup of left-hand hitters and switch hitters, they've got a lot of lefties to face. It just puts a lot of pressure on him to make too many good pitches to too many good hitters. This is a bad matchup for Kim.
Well, he got beat up his last start against the Mets. Delgado hits it to center. Sullivan got a late start back, trying to close ground, but he can't get it, and it hops up over the fence for a ground rule double. Now that was badly misplayed by Corey Sullivan. Normally a pretty good fly catcher, but he didn't look good on this.
Well, it's not even dusk yet, so I can't believe that he lost it, but he certainly misjudged this. And if you're the hitter and you're starting your day, thank you very much.
And then Sullivan, to boot, appeared to bang his leg against the fence, and he comes back limping. 25th double for Delgado, who remains red hot. And now David Wright, who hopes that he found his slump buster yesterday with that controversial base hit in the series finale against the Phillies.
That had 2 RBIs in it too, so that was a really beautiful change of call there. Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, overruling crew chief Randy Marsh on that ground ball.
And I thought Randy was very candid after the game. He said, I took my eye off him. He said, I lost my concentration. I made a mistake. You don't hear umpires say that very often.
Well, Randy Marsh was always I was a veteran when he came up as a rookie. He is a terrific umpire. He deserves to be a crew chief. He has always had such a great temperament. He's not one of those red you know what kind of umpires.
Red you know what
kind of umpires. He's a good guy.
And Wright takes the fastball for a strike, 1-2. The old red you know what. David was very happy with that base hit, even if it didn't get credited till about 7 minutes after he hit it. Sean Green waits on deck. Wright, for all his troubles, though, 93 RBIs, tied for 7th in the league. Had a rough couple of months, though, after a fabulous first half of the year. And he fouls that one away.
Well, you know, talking about rest, and David, of course, in the press lately has made an issue of his bad month here. And this is his first really prolonged slump of his career. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. Does he need a rest? He's 23 years old. He shouldn't be tired. David doesn't want to rest. You got to fight your way through a slump. I think a big thing, if we can get another pitch out of here, we won't have to go to break.
And he bloops one over Helton's head. That's a base hit. Delgado heading home. He'll score without a throw. It's an RBI single for David Wright. Keith's got his extra pitch, and it's 2-0 New York.
Only you get what you ask for. But this is actually a pretty good sign right here with David. Even though he got jammed badly, he's trying to wait. He got beat so badly in, but he stayed level. He's strong enough to muscle it out. The only way you're going to get out of a slump is to wait longer and try to hit the ball back further in your stance. And all slumps are you get out in front. As you look at Sean Green, get up to the plate. So that is a good sign, because David's been flying out and swinging at bad breaking balls.
94 RBIs now for David as Green takes a strike.
I mean, that's an ugly hit, but you know what? That's good hitting. That makes a pitcher shake his head. And the pitcher's got to just tip his hat, because I made a nice pitch, and this guy was muscled it out on the opposite field.
Wright at first with 2 down. Green's got good career numbers against Kim, including a couple of home runs. Wright is on his way. Green swings and misses. Torrealba's throw goes into center field, but backed up by Matsui. And so Wright has to hold at second with his 16th stolen base of the year. Not a good throw by Torrealba.
Well, this inning just started out 1-2 for Kim, and now it's just kind of blown up on him. There's the pitch, little off-speed sinker. Just throw up the line, and I don't think a perfect throw would have got David Wright. Great jump. Who says he's tired?
125 stolen bases for the Mets this year, and they've stolen them at an 83% success rate. As Green strikes out, and the inning comes to an end. A foul tip held by Torrealba, but the Mets off to a fast start. Their 110th and 111th first inning runs this year, started by who else? Carlos Beltran, a career-high 39 home runs, and the Mets give Trachsel a 2-0 lead. Willie Randolph and Sandy Alomar have seen the Mets score more than their share in the first inning. 111 first inning runs now, the most in the major leagues. And Steve Trachsel has been the beneficiary of most of them, it has seemed. As Trachsel takes a lead to the mound against the Rico Rockies lineup, led by Kaz Matsui. Todd Helton has been hitting second some this year. Clint Hurdle's done that, and Helton's been successful with it. Matt Holliday and Brad Hopp and Garrett Atkins all having very good years in the middle of that Colorado batting order.
And there's Steve's record right there. He is 11-1 in his last 14 starts dating back to June 9th. With the ERA at 5.26, so he has been the beneficiary of runs. But either way you slice it, he is 13-5.
He is 13-5, speaks for itself. Matsui 7 for 17. That's 412 as a Rocky. Now perhaps Kaz can think about this, facing his old team, can think about this as opening day, because as we well know, Kaz, first at bat of the year, hits home runs. Is this his first at bat of the year? Well, he gets a base hit. Sliced it right over David Wright's glove, and Matsui aboard with a leadoff single. So he's now 8 for 18 as a Rocky.
Well, this is just good hitting right here. This is a good pitch. Look at that. That is out of the strike zone, a split finger. And that's just all you kids out there that are line drive hitters. That's how you do it. Stayed right in there. That was a good pitch.
Kaz got off to a pretty good start for the Mets this year, but he really faded the last month before they traded him to Colorado. Well, here's Helton hitting second in the order. Seems a little unusual to see him there.
Well, he looked terrible back in New York in the 3-game series there. And I talked with Clint during batting practice. He's hitting 300. His power numbers are down, 13 home runs, only 62 RBI. But he just looked awkward at the plate. And Clint said it's just been a year where you think he's going to come out of it, and he's right back into it. It's been so erratic.
Well, this is a guy who's a lifetime .337 hitter. You're used to seeing him hit 35 home runs, driving 130 runs, and he's just doesn't seem to be that player.
And the humidor has not affected him at all as far as his play at home. He's hitting .340 at home for the season and .261 on the road.
Helton takes a curveball for a strike, 1-1.
He holds his hands very high in his stance, but that doesn't matter. Carl Yastrzemski, if you remember, held his hands real high. While he'll bring them down to a hitting position when the pitcher gets into his windup.
Cliff Floyd does that.
Yes.
Matsui can steal a base, and Trachsel keeps an eye on him.
Well, that's a great camera angle right there we got here in Denver. I bet you Webby came out here and scouted the stadium before we got here. He's so dedicated.
Hardest working director in the world. And Trachsel spent a lot of time worrying about Matsui.
A good hit and run pitch. When you have a good hitter up there, Whitey Herzog always said to me that he always felt that when good hitters were in slumps, the good line drive hitters hit and run with them, make them swing, and makes them concentrate.
And his ability to make contact and do that is got to be at least one of the reasons Clint Hurdle has him batting second.
Yeah, and I think he wants to get him in a position where he might be getting more pitches to hit. I don't know. He goes the other way naturally. His entire's Clint right there. I watched his BP today, Helton's, and he was really working on going into left center field, driving the ball the other way.
And of course, he'll also draw a lot of walks over the course of the year. Helton 6th in the league in on-base percentage. Matsui runs, pitches high, Loduca's throw, Matsui safe. Stolen base, his 4th of the year. So a runner in scoring position for the Rockies.
Well, here's the pitch. It's a good pitch to throw on. Loduca, no wasted motion. Just Matsui got a terrific jump. Even a perfect throw would not have got him. Not a great jump, just good speed.
It looked back as though it were a hit and run play.
He did.
And maybe it was a pitch that Helton just didn't feel he could handle. So 2 men on as Helton draws a walk. Let's check in with Chris Cotter.
Well, hey guys, talking about Todd Helton, I know we spoke about it when the Rocks were in New York. He suffered from acute terminal ileitis early in the season, and he was on the DL until May 4th. And I asked him when we were in New York, I asked him if he had finally regained that strength back, because he is hitting .357 in his last 29 games, but he told me you don't regain your strength back at all throughout the course of the season. You just don't have that opportunity. You're just going every day, and it's just tough to get there when you're trying to build so much of that strength back. So he's not quite there yet as to where he wants to be strength-wise.
Garrett Atkins takes ball 1.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, if you have an illness that's debilitating, it's something you don't bounce back from. And when you're younger, you're in your early 20s, mid-20s, you bounce back faster. When you're in your early 30s or late 30s, you don't bounce back as fast.
Toward the hole, base hit. Atkins grounds a single. Here comes Chavez's throw to the plate. Matsui scores to cut the Met lead to 2-1. RBI number 89 for Garrett Atkins, and Trachsel off to a rough start.
Well, Atkins here. Oh, it's a hanging splitter. Belt high in. So a mistake by Trachsel here, and Chavez playing very aggressively here. Throw a little bit to the left of the plate, and I don't think he would have had him. Most importantly, though, he hit the cutoff man, so it didn't allow Helton to advance to third.
It's got to feel awfully good for Kaz Matsui. First time up against the Mets. Gets on, steals a base, scores a run, and Matt Holliday pulls one foul. So it's 2-1 New York. And here's Holliday, who's had the best year of any of the Rockies, 3rd in the National League in batting. And he's been hot lately, so he's been able to keep it going. Matsui spent a month playing in Colorado Springs after coming back from his back injury. They were going to call him up a week and a half ago. Holliday fouls it off, but the Rockies decided not to because they felt as though Kaz would get such a bad reception and such scrutiny coming to New York. They waited till after the Rockies played at Shea to call him up. And from Kaz's perspective, it was probably the right thing to do.
I think it was a very wise thing to do. He would have been inundated with media.
0-2 to Holliday. Trachsel just needs an out. And he misses with the splitter, 1-2. Now, Matt Holliday, a name that does not exactly roll off the tongue of most baseball fans, but he's having a superb year.
For that matter, Freddie Sanchez doesn't ring a bell. And he's leading the league.
We saw Holliday struggle in the outfield in New York, but his bat has been unquestionable. And he strikes out on the splitter, and so Trachsel finally has a first out. One away.
Well, he got ahead in the count here and threw the splitter in the dirt. Tough pitch to lay off. Fish were biting.
So 1 away. Runners still at 1st and 2nd. Now, there you see Trachsel's record since June the 9th. Best record in the majors. 74th best ERA. But look at the run support. Nearly 9 runs per game. That's almost comical.
It's thank you very much, guys.
Wow.
Let me take you guys to dinner.
Talk about the right place at the right time. Well, the one thing is Steve can supply the wine.
Yes, he can.
Here's Brad Hopp, the left fielder, and he takes a strike. Hopp having a good year. He's pushing toward 300 for the season.
And we noted earlier in the season, Gary, that against what the norm of Trachsel, he was struggling against left-handers. Now he's brought that back down. He's got lefties hitting 254 for the season against him. And at the earlier part of the year, on the midway point, they were hitting over 300 against him, I recall.
Yep.
And we'll take a peek at the Mets defensively here, brought to you by Geico. No errors in the last 10 games. This team has been awesome defensively this year. That's one of the strengths of this ball club. And it's the same cast of characters I think we're going to see pretty much the rest of the year.
Second longest errorless streak in Mets history. Those 10 straight games. Trachsel could use a double play ball right now. Interestingly enough, Trachsel has not generated a lot of double plays this year. Been more of a fly ball pitcher than in the past as Yorvit Torrealba waits. 2-1 New York, still in the first inning, and so far it's like an old-fashioned Coors Field game.
Yes, it is.
High to Hop, and it's 2-2.
It's getting a little bit of beautiful sunsets here, and over the left field fence, it's kind of getting pink over there in the clouds. Look at that.
Just beautiful.
The foothills of the Rockies.
This is a gorgeous city. Sometimes hard to breathe, but it's a great city. And it's 3-2 now to Hop. So Trachsel really laboring here in the first inning. We talked about Trachsel needing a double play, and look at that. 5 double play grounders all season.
That's unusual.
That's not many. Let's see if the runners go here to try and stay out of the double play. 3-2, 1 out. They do not go, and Hop fouls it off.
Well, I saw you shooting hoops in the gym today, Gare, while we were working out. We were huffing and puffing. I was sitting there going, why am I breathing so much here? I don't normally breathe this heavy. Something wrong with me? And I go, oh, I'm in Denver. That's why.
52-80. You're a mile high. Now fouls off another one. Well, it certainly is noticeable, especially when you try and run or do any kind of significant exercise. That purple line near the top of the stadium, 6 rows from the top, is exactly a mile high. Purple row of seats amongst the green. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Hop, and he got him with a high fastball. So Trachsel bounces back with back-to-back strikeouts, and now there are 2 out.
Well, Steve goes back up the ladder and out of the strike zone. You see the uppercut swing. He's going to always have trouble with that pitch up and out of the strike zone when you swing up like that.
So Trachsel trying to limit the damage to 1 run. 2 out and 2 on for Yorvit Torrealba, who's been as good as anybody on the Rockies with runners in scoring position this year. 333 in RBI spots. Torrealba has claimed the #1 job here. They've run through a number of catchers this season. And the curveball for a strike. The Rockies have just recently called up the kid they consider their catcher of the future, Chris Iannetta, who's now serving as Torrealba's backup. Torrealba's been terrific. Look at that, with 2 out runners in scoring position, hitting .400. That's some clutch hitting. And Trachsel staying with the breaking ball. It's 1-1. Trachsel about to throw his 25th pitch in the first inning. And Torrealba gets under 1 to left. And Chavez drifting. And that retires the side. So Trachsel does well to limit the Rockies to 1 run. A couple of strikeouts and a fly ball prevent further damage. Nice shot of the foothills of the Rockies just out in the horizon from Coors Field. Jose Valentin leads off the second against Byung-Hyun Kim. Valentin has been playing every other day since coming back from his hamstring tweak, just trying to ease his way back in.
I think they're just being very careful. They don't want to fatigue it. And I had my experience with the hamstring. What was it, 88? I forget. Was it 88? When I pulled her, 87. I forget. Doesn't matter. I came back, and it tends to fatigue. No matter what you do, you run, you stretch, you do your isometrics.
Gets ahead of one and fouls it off.
You still, when it fatigues, and it adds to it, it increases the chances of re-injuring it. So I think they're doing the proper thing here. Now, if they were with a 2-game lead, a 1-game lead, it's a different story.
Well, that's the luxury the Mets have right now. And also, Valentin's 36 years old, and nothing heals as fast at 36. 2-2 to Jose. I mean, think about what the Mets are doing right now. If the playoffs were to begin today and everybody were healthy, the pitchers who were going to pitch the first 3 games of the postseason, Pedro, Glavine, and El Duque, they're all out of action right now. And yet the Mets just finished an 8-1 homestand. I mean, this team right now is operating on an embarrassment of riches. But I guess that leads to the question, how do you prepare yourself for the postseason when everything is coming so easily?
Well, this team has a single purpose in mind, and that is to stay sharp and every day keep driving. They've had plenty of opportunity to kind of put it in the 3rd gear and downshift it a little bit, and I have not seen any signs of that. This is a club that goes out there, strike 3 to Valentin. This is a club that goes out there, Gary. I think you know the game. You see this. They come out here with this. They're very professional. He just swings right through that fastball. They come about their business. No one sloughs off. They're very, very focused. I think a lot of it has to do with Willie Randolph and the coaching staff too.
Now, you guys dominated your division in '86 and '88 as Endy Chavez steps in. When you got to that first game of the postseason, did it matter that you had won by so much and didn't have meaningful games coming down the stretch?
It didn't mean diddly squat. Okay, because we had Mike Scott on the mound, and then Nolan Ryan, and then Nepper. We knew we had our hands full, but I didn't feel like we were out of sync because we blew the league away, Gary. I felt that we were ready to go right in, and we were in 5th gear, ready to go. We were prepared to play. They had a tough fight to win their division. We didn't, obviously, but it didn't have an effect on us as far as getting off to a slow start. Mike Scott was just better than us.
1-2 to Chavez. And Steve Trachsel waits on deck. Now, the circumstance is somewhat different here. I mean, whoever the Mets wind up playing in the first round of the playoffs, it's going to be a team they dominated during the season. There hasn't been a single team in this league that has shown the ability to play with the Mets this year. As Chavez rolls one foul.
Well, it's certainly clear that the class of the National League is the New York Mets. There's no team that I can see. As St. Louis, haven't seen the Dodgers. I didn't make that trip out west, and they're coming in next homestand. So it's the one team I haven't seen that's a division leader right now. But you know, they just got through. They just broke a 4-game losing streak. So they're erratic. So it all boils down to pitching. The Mets lineup is what. There's no lineup that can stay with it. The only lineup that can stay with the Mets is the Phillies.
And that gets to the point. The Mets know that. So will it be difficult for them to kick it into gear come playoff time? Because after all, you know, no matter how dominant you are during the regular season in a best-of-5 series, you can easily lose 3 games. As Chavez gets all tied up, did he swing? He did. Strike 3.
Wow.
Tim McClellan, the crew chief, makes the call from third base, and that's 3 straight strikeouts for Kim.
Let's take a peek. Wow, I don't think he did, but it's almost automatic today.
And the bat going one way, the hip going the other way. hard to tell.
Getting back to your point, though, Garrett, it's just hard to fathom any team going into postseason not being up to play. It's just that simple. I mean, it's playoff time. David Wright's never been there. You've got some guys in this team, a lot of guys on the team that never been there.
Delgado.
Yes.
Never played a postseason game.
So Reyes, of course, it's going to be an exciting time, and it's what when you start spring training back in March, this is what you strive for. This is what it's all about.
2-0 to Trachsel, and he takes a strike. So when we talk about resting people in September, getting into the proper gear, heading to the postseason, it's all a bunch of hooey, is what you're saying.
I think it's all a bunch of hooey. The only thing that's good, only thing that's positive about this, that I think is a help, I should say, to put it in better terms, is that the manager can set up his rotation. Where other teams, when they fight to the wire, they can't, and that is a huge advantage.
3-1 to Trachsel with 2 out. And Trachsel fouls it off. Well, right now his rotation isn't pitching. Pedro's down in Florida. Glavine is going to pitch Friday night. That's the plan. He'll come back in Houston on Friday night. Del Duque still has not thrown a bullpen session since having his start skipped, although he might pitch maybe at the beginning of the next homestand against the Braves. And Kim walks Trachsel. So after Byung-Hyun Kim struck out 3 in a row, he walks the opposing pitcher. And the Mets have a 2-out base runner for Reyes.
Well, that's Trachsel's 4th walk of the year. And we know that Trachsel is a good hitting pitcher.
Well, you've heard us explain that this September the WB11 is changing into the new CW11, but here's something you might not know. Starting September 18th, Jim Belushi is bringing his Laugh Out Loud family comedy, According to Jim, to the new CW11. So look for According to Jim weekdays this fall on the CW11. Got your new CW11 shirt?
Do you?
No.
I haven't got it yet.
Well, I figured maybe you'd get yours first.
No.
You're Keith Hernandez.
Well, that's true.
Here's Reyes driving one to deep left. Holiday back near the wall, and it's out of here. Jose Reyes with an opposite field 2-run homer. His 16th home run of the year. This is playing like the old Coors Field, and it's 4-1 New York. Wow. Reyes showing oppo pop. 16 home runs, 68 RBIs for Jose Reyes.
Well, I didn't think he hit this ball that good towards the end of the bat, and I'm telling you, you can put that ball in the humidor. That's 390 right there, Gary.
Well, somebody forgot to load the humidor tonight. There's Paul Lo Duca, and he takes a strike. Beltran homered in the first. Now Reyes here in the second.
68 RBIs for that young man. The 16 home runs is incredible too, but more impressive is his 108 runs and his 68 RBI. That is, what more can you want from a leadoff hitter?
And how about Kim? After striking out the first 2 hitters of the inning, he walks the pitcher, and then Reyes burns him with a 2-run homer.
Both innings, he got the first 2 outs and then got in trouble.
1-1 to Lo Duca, and he takes it wide.
He's just too erratic, and a submariner. Reyes, as you saw, hit a sinker low and away against a left-hander. He can throw inside all he wants. You're just going to wait for him to run that little old sinker out over the plate. He's going to try to run it away, and as a left-hand hitter, the approach is what Reyes had. You just go to left center field, hit it where it's pitched. If he throws you something inside, you take it, because he's going to eventually go back to that well out there. Just sit on it and lay in the high weeds, and then just go, and they never see you coming.
I think Reyes really impressed himself. I don't think he expected that ball to go out.
Well, he's got to remember it's Colorado.
Clint Barmes throws out Paul Lo Duca to end the inning, but Reyes adds to the Mets' lead. Going the other way, his 16th home run of the year. It's 4-1 New York. Now the purple sunset matching the Rockies' purple uniforms. Well, if the playoffs began today, the Cardinals, Dodgers, and Reds would join the Mets, and that's what the Mets have done against those 3 teams. Now remember, they have 4 games with the Dodgers coming up at Shea next week, so that'll be entertaining because the Dodgers have changed a lot since the Mets last saw them out in LA in June.
I'm still not sold on anybody in that National League West. But anything can happen in a short series.
Corey Sullivan leads off. Of course, you go back to 1988. You guys beat the Dodgers 10 out of 11 in the regular season.
Yes, and we lost our #2 starter, clipping Hedges. And then David Cohn, of course, in the Bob Klappich article.
Corey Sullivan lifts one to left center, and Beltran has it lined up. One away. You're saying David Cohn's stint as a sports writer didn't help you guys.
No, but you know something, the Dodgers were a good team. They won on their good pitching, and they went right into Oakland and swept those mighty Oakland A's, which was very sweet.
Well, the Mets are certain, or just about certain, to have the best record in the National League. In fact, you know, if they win and the Tigers lose tonight, the Mets will have the best record in the majors at the end of play today. Here's Clint Barmas taking ball one. Barmas 0 for his last 18 at the plate. The Tigers got rained out at Yankee Stadium, so that won't happen tonight. But you get the idea. The Mets are going to have the best record in the league, which means that unless the wild card comes from the East, the Mets will play the wild card team in the first round, and heck, that could be anybody. Right now, the Reds a half game up on the Padres, a game over the Phillies, a game and a half over the Giants, 2 games over the Marlins, who've won 8 in a row and are leading again tonight.
See, my feeling about the Met team, Gary, is that the lineup is so solid that whoever's going to have a chance to beat them in the playoffs, it's not going to be a team that's going to outslug them. It's going to have to be a team that has pitching, and I just don't see the pitching out there.
Well, the one team is Houston. That's the one team that has the starting pitching that can shut you down in a short series, but the Astros have just had trouble winning games. Now, even with that, they're only 4 games out, 3.5 out of the wild card going into today, so who knows?
I mean, Sean Green right there, another addition to the ball club that adds to the offense.
Back to Trachsel, and he throws out Barmas, 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. And the pitcher Kim will bat, and then there are those wild card standings. What do you got? 8 teams there within 4.5 games. I mean, that's just crazy.
And you got the whole bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under 500, and that's embarrassing. You've got to get over 500 to get into the wild card.
Well, that's the nature of the league this year. Other than the Mets, there's just no team that's more than 9 games over 500.
Well, they opted to go the NFL way up there in the commissioner's office, and it's parity by mediocrity.
Well, but this year is an aberration, and the aberration is because the American League won all those games from the National League in interleague play.
Well, the American League is a better league, there's no question.
I mean, the only time this year that the Mets have faced a team that looked better than they were was when they went to Boston. And the Red Sox obviously aren't a shadow now of what they were then, but that's really the only time all year the Mets have been dominated.
And they caught a red-hot Boston team in Fenway.
Kim fouls it away, 1-2. And there's Matsui on deck.
I mean, I like the 3 divisions. I like the 1 wild card. It does keep interest, but could we get rid of 4 teams? That's what I'd like. But you couldn't have it if you couldn't do it with 3 divisions.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about which 4 you have in mind. I'm sure they'd love to know. We go to the 3rd, 4-1 Mets. Third inning, Mets with a 4-1 lead. Carlos Beltran leads off against Byung-Hyun Kim. Carlos homered his first time up, his 39th. It's a new career high. Oh, 0-2 to Beltran. With Delgado and Wright to follow here in the 3rd. In the air to center. This one's playable for Sullivan. And there's one away. So 1 out and nobody on. Carlos Delgado coming up. And we'll check out our subway around the major leagues. Scary for David Ortiz, an irregular heartbeat sent back to Boston. Just one more setback for the Red Sox. Esteban Loaiza, 7 shutout innings last night for the A's. We're now up by 6.5 in the West. And September 1st comes up real quick this time of year. Only 3 days away, which means the clubhouses and the charter flights all of a sudden get a lot more crowded.
Oh, that's a great time. That's a great experience when you get your first call up.
Delgado doubled over Sullivan's head in center field his first time up. And he takes inside from Kim. 2-0.
You see, you notice Kim trying to pitch lefties in, and he has to. And he knows he has to, but it's just too much of a margin for error with that fastball of his that runs back out over the plate. And there's no way that he can throw a straight fastball because he's throwing he's sidearm and submarine.
Lefties have hit .313 against Kim this year. And Delgado goes the other way, hits it well to left, but Holiday has room. And there are 2 out. So 2 up and 2 set aside on fly balls. It'll bring up David Wright. As far as call-ups are concerned, Willie Randolph was saying today he does not want to have many call-ups. He said it disrupts the chemistry of a team that's got a good thing going, and unless a player is going to come up and be of direct value to the team on the field, that he doesn't want, 8 or 10 people coming up from the minor leagues just to fill out the roster.
I think he wants to keep his boys focused and not distracted.
Funny thing is, though, the Mets have already used 47 players this year, which is amazing for a team that's running away with the league. Wright drove in a run with an opposite field single, and he pops one foul.
Oh, you can see David right there just shake his head. That was a hanging slider. And he's so intent, Gary, on going the other way, which is the proper thing to do when you're struggling. He's red hot. Look at this hanger. He's red hot. I tell you what, he hits a bomb right there. And he's just missing it. So he's definitely intent on going the opposite field. And we've seen a lot of that of late, of him hitting foul balls down the right field line. So it's just such a fine line, a slump, from feeling great to feeling lousy. It's just overnight it can happen.
Ouch. Fouls that one off his leg, looking awkward doing it. Now, you said before that you wouldn't expect David to be tired after all he's 23 years old, but is there a difference between being tired and having a tired bat?
No, I don't think so. It's if your legs go, if you're tired in your legs, and everything else goes with it. The foundation is your legs. And David's got enormous lower body strength. He's got big legs, big thighs, big calves. When you feel tired in your legs and you try to speed your body up to compensate for it, and it doesn't work.
On 2-2, Wright watches wide, and it's 3-2.
So I just think he's just going through a slump. Lou Brock told me, I go to Lou, watch me hit. I feel terrible. See if I'm doing this. And Lou would say, 90%, like Yogi Berra, 90% of slumps are mental.
Kim gets him with a slider out of the strike zone. So the trouble's not yet done for David Wright. That's the 4th strikeout for Kim as Wright chases a wild one. Well, if you ever wonder why people move out to the Rocky Mountains, it's a pretty good look right there.
I was up in them there mountains yesterday, visiting my oldest daughter, my granddaughter.
Grandpa Keith.
Oh, can you believe it?
I can't.
If they only knew.
Kaz Matsui leads off and pulls a base hit through the hole. So Matsui 2 for 2 against his old team. And the Rockies have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, Todd Helton. That is Todd Helton. You're looking at Matsui there at first base. Base hit to left field his first time. And he pulls one in the hole here. It never fails, does it? They always, you trade someone or get rid of someone, they come back to haunt.
That's like opening day for Matsui without the home run. Over the fence or inside the park.
And I got to believe he'll be trying to steal again.
Stole his 4th base of the year last time, and Helton takes the curveball high. Helton walked his first time up. I don't think we saw that much smiling from Kaz in 2.5 years as a Met.
Well, he had a tough time in New York, and his confidence was shook.
See, now I've said.
And when you talk to everybody, Dusty Baker, all the guys that went over, when they first laid their eyes on Kaz, and Kaz played so well against the American team, they said he was one of the best players in Japan.
He was a superstar. He won Gold Gloves there. He played every day. But I think the first thing that happened to Kaz was that when he first came to the Mets 2 years ago, the Mets did not really have a good defensive first baseman. And he made a few throwing errors early on balls that might have been saved by a better first baseman. And I think that began to shake his confidence, and I think it all tumbled down from there.
Well, he didn't have a strong throwing arm.
Matsui runs. Leduca's throw gets away from Reyes, and Matsui has his 2nd stolen base of the night. So Matsui doing exactly what the Mets always hoped he would do.
Well, it's a good pitch to throw on. That throw was right there. Reyes just missed it right off the heel of his glove, but it wouldn't have mattered. Pretty good jump by Matsui, a very good jump. And he is trying to make a statement here to bring me back next year. I could be your leadoff man here in Colorado.
The Rockies are a little unsettled in their middle infield, and so Matsui certainly could figure in their future plans. 3-0 to Helton, and that's a strike. I mean, they've been playing Jamie Carroll most days at second base, and Carroll has had a nice year, but he's better suited to be a utility man than a starter. Clint Barmas, after beginning his career with a bang early last season, got hurt and has really struggled with the bat this year at shortstop. The Rockies have got some good young players as Helton walks for the 2nd time. Guys like Atkins and Holiday and Hop look like they're going to be solid everyday major league players. But up the middle, second base, shortstop, center field, they are very questionable. Get your Mets season ticket pack to guarantee your seats for all 15 September home games and secure a ticket purchase option for all 2006 postseason games at Shea. Go to Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX to get your season ticket pack now.
There's still seats available with this team?
A few. Atkins takes ball 1. Atkins drove in his 89th run with a 1st inning single. Then Trachsel retired 6 in a row, but Matsui and Helton have set the table again as they did in the first. 1-1 to Atkins. Atkins, a terrific college star at UCLA where he was a first baseman. As you look at Matt Holliday on deck, but the Rockies figured out pretty quickly that Atkins, if he was going to have an impact, would have to switch positions, which he did, and he's become a competent third baseman. And he's had a very solid year. Two and 1. Foul, and it's 2-2.
You know, Gary, you see more and more open stances today, and I think the new philosophy, and it makes sense to me, is find out each individual player which is their dominant eye.
Toward up the middle, base hit. Matsui had to hold up to avoid getting hit by that ball, and so he'll stop at third, and the bases are loaded. So Trachsel, working with a 3-run lead, has himself a mess. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Matt Holliday coming up.
Well, this is a frozen road. That is down and in, and that just went down and got it. Matsui. He just ducked.
See, and now if Matsui were with the Mets, that ball would have hit him between the eyes. Right?
It would have done something.
I mean,
peculiar.
That's the way his Met career went. But he's doing everything right tonight. Got out of the way of that. And now the Rockies have the tying runs on base. And Matt Holliday, who struck out his first time up, but has been the Rockies' best hitter this year. But you see more and more guys with that open stance really enabling them to see the ball better. Is that the concept?
If their back eye, which is for a right-hand hitter, his right eye, the left-hand hitter, obviously, his left eye. If that's your dominant eye, then you want to have that.
As Holliday rips it to the left field corner, Matsui will score. Helton right behind him. Atkins to third. It's a 2-run double from Matt Holliday. And the Rockies have trimmed the Mets' lead to 4-3. And Trachsel getting hit very hard here in the third inning.
He's getting hurt down low, too. It's in a low, fast splitter, let down in the zone. So many, we said before, Garrett, all year long, so many right-hand hitters used to be just high ball hitters, predominantly high ball hitters. They're all low ball hitters today.
.37th double of the year for Holliday, and now 2 in scoring position for Brad Hopp, and still nobody out. The infield back, and Hopp checks the swing and fouls it off. Hopp was struck out his first time up. Well, the Mets gave Trachsel a 2-0 lead. He gave 1 run right back. They gave him a 4-1 lead, and now he's given 2 more back. And the Rockies poised to try and tie or take the lead. It's been such an odd year for Trachsel in that his 1-loss record is marvelous. He's 13-5. And he's pitched some good games in there, don't get me wrong, but he's won 11 of his last 12, and of the 11 wins, only 5 have been what you would call quality starts. 6 innings with 3 earned runs or less. 6 non-quality starts that he's won. And no pitcher in Mets history has ever won that many non-quality starts in a single season. And he's done it in a 2-month span. Very strange. In there for a call, strike 3. Hop down looking. And he strikes out for the second time. 4th strikeout for Trachsel.
It's the 109th strikeout for Hop, 2 tonight, and this is called getting set up. Like I've always said, when you take a fastball with 2 strikes, pitcher sets you up. So many hitters today are guess hitters. They look at that computer and they look at the stats. Oh, pitcher X throws 79% curveball on a 1-2 count. So they look curveball, play the percentages, and they get caught with their pants down looking on a call 3rd strike fastball.
No, only Steve Lyons got caught with his pants down.
Well, that was a, just an expression.
Here's Torrealba, and he takes a strike. But as a hitter, or even as a pitcher, probably more particularly, you've got all those computerized stats, tendencies in different spots. How do you keep it all in your head and avoid paralysis by analysis?
I agree with you, and I was of one, you face pitchers enough, you know what they like to do. It's a little more difficult today with the three divisions, and you don't play the other divisions that much.
Yeah, you may face a pitcher once a year.
Exactly. Whereas, you would face with the 2 divisions, you'd face the pitchers more, and you get a feel for what they like to do. Now, I've talked with my good friend Rusty Staub, who I respect very much. He's a very knowledgeable hitter. And Rusty said he would like to know pitcher X like to do this 75% of the time in this situation, in this count, through this pitch. He said he would love to have had that.
Trachsel ahead 0-2 on Torrealba. To shortstop, Reyes has it, throw to third, not in time, almost got him. Atkins strayed a little bit too far and just barely got back. 2 out.
Well, David's playing deep. He hustles back to the bag. If he gets there in time, well, he got back. So forget that analysis.
Looked like he was fielding for the bag.
I think he would have got back in time. Makes the mistake. He didn't break. He just got caught in between. It's like David kind of stutter stepped here, looking for the bag. Not really. He just got back.
It's like Atkins didn't read that well for just a split second. But he managed to survive. Well, Trachsel had 2 runs home, second and third, and nobody out. Now he's got 2 out, and those runners are still at second and third. And Corey Sullivan swings at a pitch in the dirt.
A nice block by LaDuca. Saves a run. His proper fundies here. Look at him just get the glove in front and you like a hockey goalie. Excellent fundies. I say that for your benefit. I know you like
fundies?
That. Yes,
yeah.
I know you like that.
Well, Ronnie threw in the Bay of Fundy reference, and that threw me off the last time.
You got to pay attention when Ronnie and I are in the booth.
Oh, I paid too much attention. It's part of my problem. 0-1 to Sullivan, and he takes 1-1.
Where's Ronnie? Back in the studio tonight? Was it 10 o'clock back there? Is he still there? Is he still there?
Well, we're already in the 3rd inning. One and 1 to Sullivan. Trachsel comes inside, 2-1.
We've been trying to get Ronnie that get out of jail card all year long.
Well, he'll be on the next trip.
That's right.
Coming to Florida and Pittsburgh.
I'm sure he's very happy about Pittsburgh.
Hey, Pittsburgh's underrated.
Oh, for you.
Great ballpark.
Speak for yourself. It's a great ballpark.
For Mantis, best sandwich in the world. Or maybe just the most fattening. But anyway. And Sullivan fouls it off, and it's 2-2. So Trachsel, who did not look like he was destined to get through this inning with the lead, now is 1 strike away from doing just that. Doug Marmas on deck. Two and 2 to Sullivan with 2 out. Just missed. Trying to get him with the fastball in the corner, and it just missed the black. 3-2.
Just missed the ball running away. Good eye by Sullivan.
Sullivan has struck out 90 times this year, which seems like a lot for a guy who's hit 1 home run.
Oh, he's got only 347 at bats too, so that's a lot of strikeouts.
Trachsel trying to put the brakes on this inning. And Sullivan just got a piece of it to stay alive. Corey Sullivan out of Wake Forest, where he was a pitcher and an outfielder. He's been playing most of the center field for the Rockies, but that's a position that they would love to upgrade if they can. Sullivan trying to convince them that they don't need to. On 3-2, Sullivan swings and misses at the splitter, and Trachsel manages to wind his way through the inning with the lead. He gave up 2 runs, but he strands 2 in scoring position, and the Mets retain the 1-run edge. Believe it or not, that is inside the ballpark. That little waterfall.
I thought it was the Oracle of Delphi for a minute.
Ask me anything. I'll get you an answer. Sean Green takes ball 1 from Yoon-Hyun Kim. The Oracle had all the answers now.
Yes. The top, that mountain top. I forget the name of the mountain.
Green fights one off, and it's 1-1.
Just above Athens. Oh my goodness.
That's out beyond center field. The spruce trees.
Utopian.
Little dribbler, and it goes foul. Milton was hoping it would curl back fair, but it didn't. See, all we have at Shea, for years they had the tomato plants growing in the Mets bullpen.
And they had the flower pox down the right field and left field line for a bit.
Right. Now it's just kind of grassy.
But this wouldn't look right in New York, would it? Upstate New York.
You're saying it would be out of character?
It'd be out of character. Because you could say, you know, it's upstate New York.
We could have pigeons. That would be New York.
Then you'd have the New York Mets of upstate New York.
Well, that wouldn't be right. No, but you could have New York style nature. A couple of skinny Manhattan type trees and a few pigeons circling around them. One and two to Green, and he misses inside with the slider. 2-2.
Is the light air getting to you?
Well, I have found it a little difficult to breathe. Are you suggesting my mind is going? Past the mound toward the middle. Barmas can't make the play, and Green has an infield hit. So the Mets have their 5th hit off Kim. It comes leading off the 4th inning. Well, to get your Sportsnet New York on the web, make your homepage sny.tv, the online home of all things New York sports, and it's also where you can submit your questions to Dodge's Ask the Booth. John from New Jersey wants to know, how deep does the outfield have to be? I guess he means the outfield fences. Are there any regulations?
That is a very good question.
There are minimums.
Yes.
But I don't believe there are maximums. Jose Valentin pops it foul. I think in any new stadium, I think they require the lines to be at least 300, because the shortest one of the new ballparks I can think of is San Francisco, where it's 309 down the right field line.
And that's short. Philadelphia, of course, we know has 315 down the left field line, and then they pushed him out real quick because they had the improper numbers up there. The depth of the field, the depth.
The distance?
The distance. Thank you.
You see the distance to the corners here as Green gets back to the bag. This is the biggest ballpark, dimension-wise, in the majors. 350 down one line, 347 down the other, 390 in one gap, 375 in the other. And now that's in deference to the thin air. You couldn't make it much smaller.
Still, it does not beat the old Astrodome. It beats it down the lines. The dome was 340 down the lines, but the dome was 396 in the gaps, and I believe it was 418 or 420 in center field. That was a cavernous ballpark. You just had to hit line drives there.
And of course, the ball didn't carry because you were playing indoors. Valentin pops it straight up. Torrealba coming back, and it'll go out of play. Now here you've got the thin air, which is, bedeviled pitchers for years, which they think they have solved with the more humid baseballs. Chris Cotter, what you got?
Jose Valentin used to play here in Denver, not for the Rockies, but for the Zephyrs. The Denver Zephyrs played here, a minor league team. And this was Milwaukee's AAA team until 1992 and 93 when the Rockies began. And he used to play at Mile High Stadium. And boy, you talk about dimensions. Left field was a football stadium, so they moved the stands back as far as they could. But left field still was way too easy to hit home runs out there. And then you had center field, right center field, and right field. He said he used to hit triples there all the time because the dimensions were all out of whack. Strictly a football stadium that they changed to play baseball in for a couple of years.
And of course, the Rockies played there in 93 and 94, and they'd put 80,000 people in that stadium for baseball games. It was wild. And Valentin strikes out on the slider. It's 5 strikeouts for Kim, 1 away in the 4th.
5 strikeouts for both starters here, and they've been struggling. He gets Valentin out in front. Took a little off that sinker. I played in Mile High Stadium, and I love to play there. You see him out in front on that sinker. And the old stadium was, where, of course, where the Broncos used to play, and on the right field line was miles away. Up in the very top was the white Bronco.
Right
at the top of the bleachers, which was one of the end zones in old Mile High Stadium. They were the Denver Bears when I played there back in the 70s, early 70s.
And of course, out in the outfield, they had the cheap seats for baseball. They charged $1 for them. They called it the Rock Pile, and they recreated that here at Coors Field. It was so popular at Mile High. Andy takes a backdoor slider for a strike, and 0-2. Chavez struck out his first time up.
In 75.
There's that Rock Pile.
Yes, there it is. In 75, we played with the Tulsa Oilers. We played Denver there on 4th of July. They had a fireworks show. We played in front of 80,000 people. And 19 years of age playing in front of 80,000 people, that was quite an experience.
Oh, 2 to Chavez with Trachsel on deck. And Kim can't get him to chase that. 1-2.
You see that big awkward leg kick when he follows through. It's almost like a karate kick.
Well, he is the son of a martial arts teacher, and Kim is a black belt in Taekwondo.
So you don't want to charge the mound.
Andy hits one to left, and Holiday is there. That's the second out. Green back to first, 2 away. Yeah, Kim's a little guy. He's only 5'9", 175. But I don't think you want to take him on. Not with a black belt in Taekwondo.
No. And with today's ball players so strong in lifting weights, if I was a pitcher today, I would take karate. So if they charge me, I can drop them. Some of these guys are huge, man.
You know, I was just watching the tape the other day. The Mets 1989 highlight tape popped up down the right field line by Trachsel. A long run for Hop, but he won't get there. I don't know if you remember this. Your last home game at Shea. At the end of that game, Greg Jeffries grounded out to end the game. The Phillies were there.
Oh, the fight.
Roger McDowell was on the mound, and Jeffries got to first base, took a hard left turn, went straight to the mound, and he tackled Roger.
I remember.
But Roger got a couple of shots in as he was going down.
He gave Jeffries a shiner.
Yeah. Trachsel takes a slider for a strike. And, you know, I think about things like that, and you know, pitchers don't often get the best of guys charging the mound because the guys charging have all the momentum.
Yes. But if you know what you're doing, most of the guys don't know what they're doing when they come out, or the pitcher on top of the mound. The guys come out with big old haymakers, and if you know what you're doing fighting wise, it's a couple short, you could cold cock someone.
Is there a technique to it? Have you practiced this?
No, I haven't. But if I was a pitcher, I would have.
Remember Dave Clark, outfielder who played with the Cubs and the Pirates? Might have been a little after you stopped playing, but he was a Gold Glove boxer. You got to watch out for guys like that in fight situations.
Yes. There's always a tough guy too. Gary Matthews was very tough. You didn't want to tangle with him.
Well, you guys had Kevin Mitchell on your side.
Well, Kevin Mitchell, you didn't want to tangle with him. You always had to worry. I always worried about the guys coming in from the bullpen pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones. They were the ones coming in behind you when the pile was already there and getting in late, rushing in. They were always the ones that would try to hit you in the back of the head. I got hit in the back of the head.
Yes, what you're trying to say.
I got hit in the back of the head. Watch the pitches. Wait, well, look at that follow through with his leg. He is just so erratic.
Nice job by Toriyama to keep that from going to the backstop. 2-2 to Trachsel. bounces one to third, and Atkins throws him out. Side retired. So an infield single for Sean Green, but Kim works around that. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still a one-run game. Celebrate the excitement with your group at Shea. Watch the Mets with family, friends, co-workers, or community organizations. Visit Mets.com for all the theme, community, health, and heritage dates at Shea. To plan your group event, call 718-507-TIXX. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Steve Trachsel nursing a one-run lead as we check out the Jeep upcoming schedule. 2 more games to go here. Dave Williams goes tomorrow night. Oliver Perez Thursday night, and then if all goes well, Tom Glavine will return to the rotation Friday night in Houston for the start of that 3-game series. Clint Barmas leads off for the Rockies in the bottom of the fourth. Barmas dribbled one back to the mound his first time up. Now 0 for his last 19.
A big article in the USA Today about time running out for those Astros in the wild card hunt. And if you look at the wild card standings, Gary, and they are 4 out, but they're at the bottom of the heap. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams vying for the spot. They're the 7th team, which means they've got to climb over 6 teams, which makes it real tough.
And yet, as Barmas drives one to deep left, Chavez back, and it's over his head. And Barmas will pull into second base with a leadoff double. So after Trachsel managed to keep the lead in the 3rd inning, stranding runners at 2nd and 3rd, he's back in trouble immediately in the 4th.
Hanging curveball right there. It might have been a splitter. And it's just right there. Oh, it's a curve to rip.
So Barmas snaps an 0 for 19 stretch. And Trachsel will be doing some more pitching out of the stretch.
And to finish my thought on that wild card, you know, the only 2 teams in it in their division are Cincinnati and Houston, so they're not going to be playing the other teams. So it's not like they have to go head to head with these people that are the 6 teams that are ahead of them.
But you know what? All it really takes is a hot streak. Look at Florida. Florida's won 8 in a row, and they're up 6-1 in the 8th inning in St. Louis tonight. So they look like they're going to make it 9 in a row, and they've gone from afterthought to being just 2 games back in that wild card.
Well, when you're under 500, the first thought is you've got to get to 500. That's your first goal. Then once you get to 500, you start thinking about adding on. And the Astros, they're 5 under 500.
But this year, 500 could get you in the playoffs. Kim drops the bunt, but not far enough for Barmas to move. That's very odd. Kim got the bunt down, but Barmas never broke for 3rd base.
Well, it makes me wonder what Barmas was thinking here. And sure that you got a break on the bunt. And there it is in front of home. What is?
Maybe Kim not moving confused Barmas. Maybe he thought it was foul.
Actually, you know what? That's a pretty heads-up play on the part of Barmas. Now doesn't have a great lead. He would have been thrown out. So I think that's pretty heads up on his part.
So you thought he just figured he wasn't going to make it, and he stopped. So 1 out, and here's Matsui, who's had himself a big night already. 2 for 2, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored in his first game against his old team. And the curveball misses to Kaz, 1-0. The Mets traded Matsui to the Rockies on June the 9th for Eli Marrero, who has since moved by the wayside. But it has worked out very well for the Mets because they installed Jose Valentin as their everyday second baseman, and he has been terrific. Matsui holds the swing, 2-0. Todd Helton waits on deck. It's not been easy for either starting pitcher tonight. And Trachsel's pitch count rising up to 66 pitches already. And Matsui slaps one foul, 1-2.
Well, he has to go after Matsui here. You've got Helton next in the on-deck circle hitting second tonight in the order. And you've got it, you know, the 3-4 hitters coming up. Guy's always antsy with that front foot.
He slaps one to short. Reyes has got it. Matsui retired for the first time tonight as Barmes went tripping into third base.
Oh gosh, it's hilarious. That stuff you see in A-ball. Look at Reyes here. The bat ball was a bad hop, came up, but plenty of time for him to adjust. He's got such good hands. This ball's hit way too hard for Matsui to have a chance to beat it out with his speed. But Barmes broke to third on a ball hit to the left of the shortstop with one out and slid headfirst into third base, which is just inexperience.
Well, he couldn't have thought there was going to be a play on him, could he?
Please, of course not.
2 out and a runner at third. Here's Helton toward the middle. Reyes to his left, runs it down, 360, got it. Nicely done by Reyes to keep the Rockies off the scoreboard in the bottom of the fourth and keep the Mets up by a run. Reyes going to his left and had plenty of time to throw out Helton to end the inning. Jose Reyes up for the third time, and he takes a strike from Kim. Reyes hit an opposite field 2-run homer his last time up, his 16th of the year. Now has 68 runs batted in. And that home run right now is the difference in this game. And he drives one to deep right field. Back goes Hop at the wall, and it's off the wall in play, and Reyes pulls into second base with a double. And Reyes almost had his second home run of the night. That's a ball that in the past would have flown out of the ballpark.
I agree. A little off the end of the bat, Garrett, and see the flat slider, tried to get a backdoor slider, got it out over the outer half. Ouch.
Nice sound off that scoreboard. That's great audio, guys. And so Reyes with his second extra base hit of the night. In scoring position for LaDuca. And he goes the other way. Hop chasing back. Reyes tags. He'll go to third easily. So LaDuca moves him along, and Reyes now at third with one out.
Well, just very good situational hitting by LaDuca. He's such a professional hitter. The 4-3 ball game here in the fifth sets it up for Carlos Beltran for his 110th RBI.
And he picked up number 109 in the first inning when he hit his 39th home run. Both of those are career highs, and now the Rockies down by a run in the fifth inning will bring the infield in against Beltran. And it doesn't take much of a fly ball to get Reyes in from third.
And in this ballpark, you can get under it, and it's going to carry a little bit, even though there hasn't been a lot of home runs hit here.
Beltran. Hop has a great arm in right field. If you have a fly ball of less than great depth, like Hop has 14 outfield assists this year. As Delgado waits to follow. Let's try to tack on to a 4-3 lead. And now Kim, who needs a strikeout, gets up in the count. This was the Coors Light cold blast. Beltran's at bat in the first inning.
Out over the plate. Right where Beltran likes it, dead central. What a year he's having.
Number 39, just 2 off the Mets club record of 41 set by Todd Hundley. And Kim strikes him out. There's a big strikeout for Byung-Hyun Kim. His 6th of the night, and it comes in a big spot.
Slider right here, starts on the inside corner, just completely fools Beltran. Tell you what, I might be inclined to walk Delgado here and pitch to right.
The infield drops back for Delgado, who doubled over the head of the center fielder Sullivan and scored back in the first, 1 for 2, and he's 4 for 8 now in his career against Kim.
I would not pitch to Delgado. I am sorry. I have to walk him.
Fastball by him, 0-1.
And that was a good pitch for Delgado to hit right there. He just missed it. Had a good cut and missed it. That's right for him to rip.
Carlos with 33 home runs, 93 driven in. Kim comes inside, 1-1. In talking about his slump yesterday, David Wright was pointing to Delgado and saying, look how even a demeanor he kept through all of his difficulties this year. He said, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
And that is the value of veterans on your ball club. And David Wright is 23 years old, certainly, I can't even say a budding star, a star, but still 23 years old. He's not a seasoned veteran by any stretch of the imagination. And those are the examples that the young kids look at and take the lead.
3-1 now.
Follow that example, and that's all things you learn. If you're a student of the game when you play, and you play with veterans, you watch how their demeanor, how they comport themselves in good or bad, and that sets the example. In my case, it was Lou Brock. Bob Gibson was the author. There's the ball 4 there for the intentional pass. And in the Mets case, Delgado.
So they end up walking Delgado intentionally. Second walk given up by Kim. And now Wright with an opportunity. First and third and 2 out. David flared a single to Wright to drive home a run in the first, then stole a base, but looked bad striking out on a slider out of the strike zone in the third.
Now, when I said so strongly that I wouldn't pitch to Delgado, it's because you've got a submariner out there who's a right-hander. And submariners are going to be tougher on a righty-righty matchup. And that would just be, play the percentages. Make it a better matchup for your pitcher, even though you got a very fine hitter right here.
And you have to know who's hot, who's not. Delgado has been hot, and Wright hasn't. And that certainly adds to it.
But if they were both hot, let's say if they both were red hot, you pick your poison. I would play percentages righty against righty.
1-0 to David. And he slices one the other way.
Boy, he is really going the opposite field and everything. He's just so set up the other way. I just would never, I wouldn't throw him anything in. That is so late. I'd just pound his paddle in.
Even with his slump, his RBI numbers have been terrific. His overall runners in scoring position numbers starting the day was 5th in the National League. So even though David has not been getting all that many hits, the hits he has gotten, he's made count.
Well, the good hitters, the clutch hitters, shorten up in clutch situations, even when they're going bad. And David has great back control.
And Kim gets a strike. In at the knees, 2-2.
Well, I think David might have been caught looking for a slider here. Watch his reaction to this pitch after it's called strike. Oh, he's going, darn.
Sean Green waiting on deck. Let's try to add to a 4-3 lead here in the 5th. Reyes led off with a double. He's at third. Delgado at first with 2 out.
And as you looked at Sean Green in that on-deck circle, this gives the Mets now, when they have Floyd, that good right, left in the middle of the order.
To right field toward the line. Hop. He can't get it. And a roll to the corner, and 2 runs will score. Reyes across the plate. Delgado follows. Hop just picking it up. Right to third, takes a turn. A 2-run triple for David Wright, and it's 6-3 New York. Well, Hop had the option of trying to play that safe, but he made the dive, and it cost the Rockies. It's 6-3.
A critical part of the ball game area. I think it was a good play on his part to try to get this ball. And just out of his reach. And you know what? Good pitch, maybe up. It's up on the strike, so they want it away. But it's out over the plate. Belt high, and David going that direction, and that's all good stuff. And good signs that David's coming out.
4th triple of the year for David Wright. Now has 96 RBIs, 3 tonight.
Well, we're going to give you a pitch sequence here. First pitch, fastball away, down, misses, 1-0. Fastball in, belt high, 1-1. Slider, he just missed that one, bad pitch, 2-1. Fastball right down the middle, he took it. Slider hanging, missed it. Fastball, there it is, out over the plate. So Kim did not make good pitches that entire sequence. And David, good hitters are finally going to get you.
He also never went to back up. And Clint Hurdle is heading to the mound. And it looks like Kim's night may have come to an end. He got knocked out in the 5th inning against the Mets at Shea Stadium, giving up 6 runs. He gets knocked out in the 5th inning tonight, having given up 6 runs, and Tom Martin will replace him. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Wireless. You too can make the switch over to the most reliable network, Verizon Wireless.
It's here. But not forever. The Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. See your Lexus dealer before this opportunity disappears.
This is not good. What if I get hurt and can't work? Wait, I have Aflac. They give me cash to help pay for groceries, the car, even the cable bill. Lucky me.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Announcing the Ford Labor Day sales event with the biggest savings of the year. Now until September 5th. Get 0% financing for 72 months on 2006 Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Plus, get the best powertrain coverage and roadside assistance package of any full-line manufacturer. The Ford Labor Day sales event with 0% financing for 72 months. Hurry, this offer ends September 5th. See your local Ford dealer today.
It's here. But not forever. The Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. See your Lexus dealer before this opportunity disappears.
Sign up for the Flushing Flash at Mets.com to receive the latest news, highlights, special offers on tickets and merchandise, transportation information, and more from the Mets. Go to Mets.com today. Doing a little dancing in the aisles to Barry White here at Coors Field. Well, they were. The veteran Tom Martin comes on to pitch for the Rockies in back of Byung-Hyun Kim.
You see his numbers, 54th game.
Martin had one-time pitched for the Mets, now 36 years old. Sean Green first to face him, takes the breaking ball for a strike. Sean had an infield hit his last time, up 1 for 2. The Mets chased Kim after 4 2/3. He threw 101 pitches. 7 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. And it's 0-2 to Sean Green.
Well, we said earlier that wasn't a good matchup for Kim with this lineup. Too many good left-hand hitters.
Clint Hurdle, though, has seen his pitchers pitch better than any Rockies staff ever. In fact, the Rockies staff has given up fewer home runs than any staff in the league. It's hard to fathom. Trachsel base hit to right field, and that'll bring home Wright from third. RBI single for Sean Green, 7-3 New York. So Green picks up his second hit. He's got 5 RBIs in his first 5 games as a Met.
And that will close the book on Kim here, and just not wanting to throw inside. 0-2, away, 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 and guess what? You're finally going to hang one. Good at bat by Green.
Sounded like a soccer fan. Here's Valentine, and he fouls one off. Valentine was up twice and struck out twice against Kim. Now turns around about right-handed against Martin. Well, the Mets have never relinquished the lead in this game. They were up 2-0, 2-1, 4-1, 4-3. Trachsel was in trouble a couple of times, but managed to keep the lead, and now the Mets have tacked on 3 runs in the 5th. Toward the whole base hit for Valentine, and that'll keep the inning going. So Tom Martin has come on and given up back-to-back base hits. 2 on and 2 out for Endy Chavez. Isn't this the story of Trachsel's season, though?
Well, we said he had almost 9 runs per game during that 11-1 stretch. And the Mets are 2 runs away from matching that.
But I mean, he's pitched well enough to win in most of those games. But he's been right on the brink, able to keep the game in contact, and his offense just keeps getting it done for him. Chavez 0 for 2. He's been hitting lefties very, very well lately. Well, Trachsel doesn't lead the league in run support, but he's awfully close. Madsen now working out of the bullpen. Hamels has only been there for half the season.
And we talked about that Philly lineup, really the only lineup that can match up with the Met lineup. And 2 of their starters have are 1-2 in run support. That's not surprising to me.
Green and Valentine aboard. Mets passed by the Phillies and took over the league lead in runs scored yesterday with their 8-3 win. And looking for more tonight with 7 on the board in the 5th inning.
Ah, there's a fastball in, but he didn't mean to throw it in. Catcher was set up outside.
2-1 to Chavez.
Watch the catcher outside corner. It was a mistake. Didn't mean to do that. And that Ryan Howard is something else, I tell you. In that ballpark, the left field in Philadelphia's ballpark.
Well, he didn't need Citizens Bank Park the last 3 days.
And when he learns to pull, see, he's perfect right now. Young hitter, he goes the other way well. When he gets mature and and gets to know the pitchers and how they like to work them, and he looks and he starts pulling, because he will learn to pull, sky's the limit.
Tonight, Ryan Howard hit his 48th home run. That ties the Phillies club record set by Mike Schmidt 26 years ago. And the Phillies beat the Nationals tonight 10-6 in D.C. 2-2 to Chavez. And Martin strikes him out to end the inning. But the Mets tack on 3 runs. 2 of them on a David Wright opposite field triple. And the Mets have given Trachsel a 4-run lead.
Matt Yaloff here with your Chevrolet Baseball Night New York update. Devil Rays and White Sox. And check out Jermaine Dye, number 39 on the season. He's driven in 4 runs in the game. The White Sox up on the Devil Rays 11-8. Dye making a case for MVP. Royals and Twins. And how about Kansas City and how about Mark Redmond? He goes the distance, gets a couple of runs to support him, and the Royals shut down Minnesota 2-0 in the Dome. Back to Gary and Keith in Denver.
All right, Matt, and with the Minnesota loss, that's now a tie between the Twins and the White Sox, but the White Sox poised to go a half game in front if they could finish off the Devil Rays tonight. It'll be 11-7 in the 8th inning. Red Sox only a memory of all of their problems. With Manny Ramirez hurt, and David Ortiz back in Boston, and Jason Varitek out, and their pitching all messed up. It's hard to imagine the Red Sox coming back and making any kind of a run.
I think you can stick a fork in them, to be honest with you. You never know, but not with all those injuries.
Garrett Atkins leads off in the home 5th inning, and Trachsel throws a strike. Atkins already 2 for 2 tonight, and he singled home a run. To Atkins as we check out our Lincoln Mercury starting pitching line. Trachsel's been only okay, but far better than Kim, who got routed by the Mets for the 2nd time in a week. And Atkins has his 3rd hit of the night. And so for the 4th time in 5 innings, the Rockies have a leadoff hit against Steve Trachsel, who has spent virtually the entire night pitching out of the stretch. That's 7 hits off Trachsel, and now here's Matt Holliday.
And Trachsel needs, of course, 3 outs to become the pitcher of record here for his 14th win.
Getting the wins hasn't been the problem.
He's pitched out of a couple jams here. This could have been a lot worse. Got himself and pitched himself out of only a 1-run inning in that 1st inning.
Holliday pops it up foul. That'll come out of play.
And back in the 3rd, he gave up 3 base hits and a walk before he got anybody out and pitched out of that.
And 2nd and 3rd and nobody out in that inning, and a 1-run lead.
So he's gotten himself in trouble and knuckled down and stopped the bleeding.
Brad Hopp waiting on deck. Holliday had a 2-run double his last time up, and Atkins back. Trachsel has an amazing record here in Denver. Mile High Stadium and Coors Field combined, he's 5-1. And you know, pitching here in Denver in past years was very much like pitching the way Trachsel has this year, where you give up a lot of runs and you wait for your team to score more. There's his lifetime record in Colorado. His team's won 8 out of 10 games. Who was great at that here when he was with the Rockies was Pedro Estacio.
Yes.
Estacio would go out there and pitch his 6 1/3 innings and give up his 5 or 6 runs, and at the end of the day have a better than even chance to get a win. And that's kind of the way Trachsel's been this year.
That was before the humidor too now. When this was a bandbox.
Holliday badly fooled. 2-2. So it's like BC and AD, pre-humidor and post-humidor.
Yes, it's biblical.
Well, runs used to score in biblical proportions here.
It's the New Testament.
Yes, it is. The Mets played the first ever regular season game here at Coors Field in 1995. That was a 14-inning affair in freezing cold weather. And Holliday lifts one to center, well hit, but playable for Beltran. And that's the first out. So a 400-foot out from Holliday, 1 away. It'll bring up Brad Hopp. Been talking about run support for Trachsel. I mean, look at this. Now he's got a .722 winning percentage. These are the highest ERAs in Major League history for a pitcher with a 700 or better winning percentage. And Trachsel's 2nd on the list. I mean, you've got a guy in there from 1894, Kid Nichols, on that list.
How about Roxy Lawson?
I've never even heard of Roxy Lawson.
Who did he play for?
I don't know, but obviously he didn't pitch very well. But he played for a good team, so he got a lot of wins.
They kept stats back in 1894.
Oh, even further back than that. Check out your baseball encyclopedia sometime.
I think it's great that they did that. I wonder what kind of game it was.
In 1894?
Yes.
0-1 to Hopp, who's been up twice and struck out both times. Well, that's some brilliant work on the part of Dan Barr, who puts together our graphics.
Oh,
and that one caught LaDuca.
That's inner thigh.
The life of a catcher.
Well, he is the blue-collar worker on this Met club. He is tough and hard-nosed, old school. I just think he's really kind of the one guy that's been kind of overlooked. One of the main reasons for the success of this ball club. I just love the way he plays. I love his approach. I love what he does for this ball club.
And he has shaken off everything, including a painful thumb injury that's been bothering him for virtually half the season. 1-1 to Hop. Trachsel misses. 2-2. Now, we talk all the time about Trachsel's pace and the impact it has on the guys in the field. Sean looks ready. Down to first, right under the glove of Delgado and into right field. Atkins to third, and the Rockies have runners at the corners with one out. Well, off the bat, that looked like it might be a double play ball, but Delgado couldn't reach it.
Well, not a bad pitch here, and in the hole. So Delgado doesn't come off very far from the bag when he's holding a runner on. See, he's right. Does that work? That's where he should have been. He's ready to field, but he could come out a little bit more because you're going to get beat. Ken Boyer always said you're going to get beat more in the hole than you are down the line.
You think especially a right-hand throwing first baseman who can cover the line with his glove. So runners at the corners with one out. Here's Torrealba, who's fly to left and line to short. 0 for 2. Down toward third, a foul ball. 0-1 to Torrealba. Beat Torrealba.
It's a nice name.
Ramon Ramirez. You like that name?
Yes. But, oh, he's camouflaged. Very interesting.
The Mets at one time grew tall sunflowers in their bullpen, which made it hard for the opposing manager to see who was warming up. Who do you think the Mets manager was at the time?
Tell me.
Bobby V.
Oh.
Who else would think of something like that? Anything for an edge. And Torrealba pops it foul. That comes back out of play. 0-2. Well, Yorvit Torrealba's first name is a made-up first name. One of his parents wanted to name him Yorman, and the other one wanted to name him Victor. So they compromised and named him Yorvit. Now, why it wasn't Yorvik, I don't know, but that's how it came out.
Well, it came out nice. I like Yorvit.
Yorvit.
It's a nice name.
It's lovely. Especially when you combine it with Torrealba. 1-2 to Yorvit Torrealba.
It is a nice little last name.
Flows. It really flows.
Are you sure that this high altitude is... You okay?
I mean, if they'd called him Joe Torrealba, it wouldn't have been quite the same.
Did you work out a little too strongly today?
I might have. Just trying to fill the time between the pitches, you know. And Trachsel strikes out Torrealba, and that's the second out. And that's 6 strikeouts for Trachsel, matching his season high.
It's a splitter that's kind of just breaks in down. Yeah, good pitch. Good pitch. Tough. So Trachsel's 1 out away from pitching himself out of yet another jam.
And qualifying for a win. So runners at the corners with 2 out, and here's Corey Sullivan. Sullivan has flied to center and struck out 0 for 2. Trachsel trying to wind his way through another jam, and Sullivan fouls it away. In 2006, Hyundai, the Mets, and Sportsnet New York are teaming up to strike out cancer. For every K the Mets pitching staff registers, Hyundai, the Mets, and Sportsnet New York will donate $25 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. If you'd like to help, please go to www.hopeandheroes.org. Trachsel has certainly been able to make the right pitches at the right time tonight. Trying to do it again. 1-1 to Sullivan. Trachsel has run into trouble early in 4 out of the 5 innings. But he's only given up 3 runs despite having surrendered 8 hits. And he's got himself a 4-run lead. To second base. Sullivan broke his bat. Valentin breaks his heart, and the inning is over. Trachsel gets his 5 innings in with the lead. He has certainly been able to minimize the damage tonight. Well, it's the 6th inning, and that means it's time for the Best of Barbados vacation getaway. If a Met hits a home run, 1 grand prize winner will win an all-expense-paid trip to the Almond Beach Village Resort in Barbados. To enter or see if you're a contestant, visit sny.tv/Barbados today. Steve Trachsel stays on to hit in the 6th inning. Steve's thrown 89 pitches, and pitching coaches always say it's not the number of pitches you throw, it's the number of pitches you throw under duress. Well, he's thrown almost every pitch under duress tonight.
He's only had 1 perfect inning, and that was the 3rd. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. The wrong side here. You are correct. The 2nd inning, he had 1, 2, 3.
He did. So that would be like 10 of his pitches he didn't throw under duress. He's had to work hard, but he's got a 4-run lead as he leads off against Tom Martin. And it's 2-1 to Trachsel. Steve with 4 hits this year, but he walked in the 2nd inning. That was a big mistake by Byung-Hyun Kim. Walked him with 2 out and nobody on, and Reyes followed with a 2-run homer. Those are the things that'll just kill you. Trachsel lines 1 base hit. And he has his 5th hit of the season. So Steve Trachsel on base for the 2nd time tonight. Tom Martin's now faced 4 batters and given up 3 hits.
Well, they're going to let go with 1 hand, but he stays level. One thing, Trachsel has a chance at the plate because he has a level swing.
Check out the Hyundai in-game box score. 10 hits for the Mets now. Home runs for Reyes and Beltran. David Wright with 3 RBIs as a triple tonight as he tries to break out. And Trachsel contributing as well. So here's Reyes, who's got himself a home run and a double tonight. He now has 57 extra base hits. Not bad for a leadoff hitter. Has 160 hits overall. Leads the league in runs scored with 109. Leads the league in triples and stolen bases as well. Bounces 1 foul. 1-1.
43 walks on the season, which for Jose is a big improvement.
Well, we said at the beginning of the year, last year he had a 300 on-base percentage. We said if he could just get it to 330, that would be great. Well, he's been right around 350 all year in his on-base percentage, and as a consequence, he leads the league in runs scored. Gets ahead of him 1-2.
Well, the most important thing with Jose is to see him swinging a high slider here. Good pitch to hit. He just got fooled by the change of speed. Is that it's a fine line between wanting Jose to walk more and also not having him lose his aggressiveness at the plate.
Hits it to center field. Sullivan again got a late start back. That's twice tonight. This time he's able to make up for his mistake. First time Delgado hit it over his head. This time Sullivan, after starting in, was able to run it down 1 away.
The ball's carrying tonight.
Somebody forgot to put the balls in the humidor, I think. This is the old Coors Field. And there's wind.
Wind blowing out to left. A little bit to, actually it's blowing out to central. Oh. Put me in uniform.
LaDuca, and he takes a strike. I would pay to see it.
Well, give me a couple weeks of BP. I just can't run me out there with no BP.
Do we have to add a few more inches to the old uniform?
Well, yes, of course. Maybe a corset, too.
Wouldn't we all? A corset?
For my back.
Oh, I see. It's the back end.
Yes.
1-1 to LaDuca, who's 0 for 3 on the night, with Beltran to follow. You know, Franco says he's going to play till he's 50. You're not that much older than he is.
I'll be 53 this year.
Manny Minoso went out there when he was 70.
I have no desire.
Buck O'Neill when he was 94.
If I'm alive at 70, I'm going to be in the backyard on the porch.
You're not going to be here with us. Driven to left. Holiday won't get there. Trachsel around second. The throw goes to second base, and LaDuca will settle for a single. Well, if Holiday had thought about throwing to third, it would have been a very interesting play because Trachsel was not going especially hard.
Well, he shouldn't. He's a pitcher. He should conserve his energy. It's automatic him going to third. It's a smart play here by Holiday throwing to second base. That's knowing your base runners, knowing he has no shot here. He has no shot to throw Trachsel out at third. LaDuca's running as hard as he can. He knows LaDuca's not a fast runner. That's a very heads-up play defensively. I tell you what, there's some shoddy, not great defense in that outfield.
Beltran fouls one off.
Not a whole lot of guys that seem to cover a lot of ground out there.
Well, Sullivan is supposed to be a better outfielder, but he hasn't had a good night so far tonight. Holiday is a hitter playing left field.
Yes.
And Brad Hopp, the best of the three, although he made that ill-fated dive on Wright's triple. That brought in a couple of runs. Beltran homered his first time up tonight, his 39th of the year. And he drives one to deep right center field. Hop going back to the wall, and it's off the fence in play. Trachsel scores. LaDuca to third. RBI double for Beltran, his 110th run batted in, and it's 8-3 New York. And they're just mashing Tom Martin.
That's right down the pipe and up. You say that Beltran's a high ball hitter. Hit that pitch right. Hit that pitch right where it was pitched. LaDuca here now gets a little bit of a late read, but he's not going to score on that ball anyway.
So the Mets with a run home here in the 6th as they continue to add on. Trachsel helping himself. Hasn't needed a whole lot of help. Everybody else has hit for him this year. There's Delgado. They'll bring the infield in. Second and third and one out. Delgado with a double and an intentional walk. 1 for 2. He fouls that one off the home plate umpire. Gilden Colbreth took a hit. 0-1.
Well, a rare fastball from Martin. Ouch.
What fell? Got that little extension at the bottom of the mask. Manuel Corpus up in the Colorado bullpen. This is a ballpark that hitters have traditionally come to get well. And it's worked just that way for the Mets tonight as Delgado drives one to right. Hop over, another dive, and he can't get this one either. LaDuca and Beltran will score. Delgado will leg it all the way to third base with a 2-run triple. And now it's 10-3 New York. It has been a nightmarish night for the Colorado outfield. The second time tonight that Hop has tried to dive for one, and it has turned into a 2-run triple.
Well, another slider, and he just continues to want to throw breaking balls and not keeping anybody honest in. Beltran does a nice job there. He was able to tag up. The ball's caught. The right fielder is not in a position to throw anybody out on the dive. And Delgado, once he gets going, he's not a truck horse.
He knew he had 3 bases there. It's his second triple of the year. And he now has 95 runs batted in. And Clint Hurdle's ready to take the baseball from Tom Martin. So the Mets with a 10-3 lead in the 6th inning. Manny Corpas will come on to relieve Martin. David Wright's coming up. Martin got hit very, very hard, and the Mets having a big night at Coors.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sterling Max and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Max.
Double switch for the Rockies. Manny Corpas comes on to pitch. Ryan Spilborghs comes in to play center field. Spilborghs will bat 9th, and the pitcher will bat 7th as Corey Sullivan comes out of the game. Mets are having themselves a big night at the plate.
We saw the same thing happen in New York in the home series against this ball club. This is not a good defensive outfield, and it's hurt this ball club against the Mets.
David Wright takes ball 1. David's already driven in 3 runs tonight with a single and a triple. Now has 96 RBIs. Delgado 95. Beltran 110. As you look at the numbers for Corpas, now in his 18th game. Rookie right-hander. And it's 2-0 to Wright.
Now that last dive by Hop was ill-advised. He had no shot to get that triple. And he should have played that, just cut it off.
It's 3-0 to Wright. Well, the Rockies began the night 3rd in the National League in staff ERA. But the Mets have torn them up tonight for 10 runs and 13 hits. Tom Martin gave up 6 hits in 2/3 of an inning. And Wright swinging 3-0. Well, you don't see that very often.
I like it.
Well, that's what the Rockies have done against the teams with the 4 best records in the National League. Overall, they've had themselves a pretty good year, but not against the best the league has had to offer.
Well, that's getting crushed.
And Wright fooled, and it's 3-2.
That is just not a good swing. See, David's so set going the other way that he's so vulnerable in. Down and in, not up. And that's just not a good swing for a 3-1 pitch. So I gotta feel that he's still not feeling anywhere close to 100%.
Infield in with 1 out. And Wright keeps the at bat going. When you get to 3-1, what's your thought process?
Depends on the pitcher. It's my pitch to hit. That's one thing. And I'm looking fastball. I look fastball 95% of the time and adjust it to breaking ball and off-speed pitches. Now, I was a good breaking ball hitter and a good off-speed hitter, and I could adjust to gearing off of a fastball. But I'm looking for my pitch to hit, whether I want to go up the middle or I want to look for something to pull. Depends on the pitcher.
And Wright takes inside, stop the swing, and it's ball 4. But on 3-1, you're not looking to adjust if it's not your pitcher taking it.
Correct. If it's a pitcher's pitch, you're going to spit on it in baseball terminology.
So here's Sean Green, who's 2 for 3 tonight, and he's driven in a run. 5 RBIs in 5 games since joining the Mets. Sean is loving this, being in the middle of this lineup. The hope was that he would feel rejuvenated coming here. It was certainly his hope, and so far it's looking just that way. The third might be two. Atkins to Matsui. Kaz's throw in the dirt, scooped out by Helton, and the double play ends the inning. Matsui bailing out, but he turns the double play. The Mets get 3 in the 6th and open up a 7-run lead for Trachsel. Daily News Live is the place to break down the sports issues of the day. Join the panel of special guests as the discussion and debate rages on in the heart of the media capital of the world. Daily News Live weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Sportsnet New York. Pedro Feliciano, Chad Bradford staying busy in the Mets bullpen, but we showed you the graphic earlier about the run support that Steve Trachsel has had in going 11-1 since the 9th of June, averaging almost 9 runs per game. Well, he's got 10 tonight as Clint Barmas leads off the bottom of the 6th. Barmas a double in 2 trips. And he takes a strike. Pulls one foul, and it's 0-2. Clint Barmas last year as a rookie got off to an incredible start with the bat, but then an accident in which he broke his clavicle cost him half the season, and really since coming back last September he has not been the same hitter. It's one weekly at the second baseman, and Valentine throws him out, 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on. It'll bring up Ryan Spilborghs, who will bat for the first time after coming on a double switch. And Keith, you were talking about the Rockies outfield before. And the one thing about this ballpark that nobody ever talks about is the room in the outfield and what that necessitates as far as your outfield defense is concerned.
Well, you need a good defensive outfield. You need a speedy outfield. There's a lot of ground to cover. Now, the Met outfield would be wonderful for this ballpark, with Beltran patrolling center, Chavez in left or right. You know, Sean Green doesn't cover the ground like he used to. He's not as swift as he used to be. But you need good defense, and that's, you know, it's a part of the game today that's overlooked. And I've seen this team now 4 games, and its defensive outfield is lost. This game's not over. Potentially lost all 4 games.
But it's one of those areas where the Rockies have always gotten caught in between. You know, when they first started out, they very much emphasized power. They were the Blake Street Bombers with Dante Bichette and Larry Walker and Andres Galarraga and Vinny Castilla, and that was really their focus. And then after a few years of not succeeding, they decided to go the other way and be more of a speed team, and they didn't win that way either.
Well, that was a pretty good lineup they had there with the Blake Street Bombers. That was a veteran team, veteran hitters, and they got a little older and started, you know, dipping in their performance. But that was as good a lineup as there was, particularly in this ballpark.
Spilborghs bounces one to Reyes, takes the big hop and throws him out 2 away. But yeah, the one constant all those years is that they were not able to put together a credible pitching staff. Well, now they've done that. Their pitching has been outstanding, and it makes you think that for whatever deficiencies we've seen from the Rockies in the 4 games this year, that at least they have the hope of winning at some point in this ballpark.
But another thing too is it's only 1 year. People are too quick to make judgments. Oh, a guy has a great year, he's a great player. Greatness is over a period of years. You do it 3, 4, 5, 6 years in a row. And, you know, it's tough to be a pitcher in this ballpark, even with the humidor, and be consistent. This is just not conducive to good pitching. And we'll find out next year if this was just a freak year as far as pitching is concerned, as far as the lack of power this year.
1-1 to Kaz Matsui, who's 2 for 3 in his first game against his old club. Well,
you've been around long enough to know a guy wins 15 1 year, and the next year he loses 12.
No question, but the drop off in runs in this ballpark has been spectacular. as Trachsel handles the comebacker, and he has his strongest inning of the game after being handed the huge lead. So Trachsel gets him out 1-2-3. We go to the 7th here at Coors. 10-3 Mets.
Matt Yaloff here with your Chevrolet Baseball Night New York update. Phillies and Nationals, and Ryan Howard ties Mike Schmidt with 48 home runs, the most ever for a Phillies player in a single season. Phillies winning 10-6. Guys?
All right, thanks, Matt. And that means that the Mets can reduce their magic number to 17 with a win tonight. Let's go to the Aflac trivia question. Carlos Beltran scored a run in the 11 straight games, tying the Mets club record. Who did he tie? And if you were listening earlier, then you'd know, because we said so.
I forgot.
Oh, good.
I wasn't listening to you.
It's better that way. Well, you never do.
It's been a tough ball game. I usually hang on every word.
No, it's only your own words. Corpus plays the comebacker from Valentine, and on one pitch, he has one out in the 7th inning. One away for Andy Chavez. Now, Beltran has certainly done much to inject himself into the Mets record book this year. That's only one sidelight. That's scoring a run in 11 straight games.
The National League record is 15.
I don't know. Jay Horwitz is going to tell me. He stole my
Ted
sheet.
Klazuski, I believe, with the Reds.
Hey, that's good.
The only reason why I know that is because it's in our notes.
Well, that's what you just handed to me.
Because I don't. When I was a kid, I didn't follow that sort of stuff.
National League record, Ted Klazuski. The record is 17. Beltran actually scored in 15 straight with the Astros in 04. Klazuski scored in 17 straight. Now, why would you use always trying to get the tape on? Is he?
I don't know what he's trying to do. Let's see. He is. He's slicing. What is he doing?
Looking for cork? Chavez fouls it off.
I've never seen anybody do that to his bat. Is it broke?
The hands of a surgeon.
Ray's saying, my scissors. You're ruining my scissors.
Chavez lifts one to shallow right. Hop got a late start in, and it falls in front of him. Boy, is Brad Hop having a bad night.
Wow.
And Chavez winds up with a cheap double. That is just awful.
He broke back. Well, he let up. He could have caught it maybe on a dive.
That's the thing. Even after he broke back, he didn't come in particularly hard. Almost like he was afraid of Matsui running into him.
That's a fine.
I mean, he's tried to dive for 2 balls tonight, and they've both gone by him for triples, and this one falls in front of him for a double.
This has been consistent, some shoddy defensive play in the outfield. That is for sure.
Well, the very rough night for the Rockies outfielders continues. Now Michael Tucker is going to bat for Steve Trachsel, so Steve's done after 6 innings. In line for his league leading tying 14th win of the year. Tucker's done a nice job off the bench. He was getting some starts until the Mets brought in Sean Green, but now those have dried up for Tucker. Here's the 1-0 to Tucker, and it's taken outside 2-0. The Mets with 14 hits tonight against 3 Colorado pitchers. They got 7 runs and 7 hits off Kim in 4 2/3, 3 runs and 6 hits off Tom Martin in 2/3 of an inning, and now Manny Corpus. Three and 0 to Tucker. Three and 0 to Tucker. On 3-0, Tucker takes a strike, 3-1. They're playing Tucker very much as a left field hitter.
Well, anything goes with this outfield.
Hits it to center field, hit well. Spilborg's going back, and he got a good break on it. It's the best play by a Rockies outfielder tonight. Spilborgs, who came into the game late, and that's the second out.
Hallelujah.
That's what Clint Hurdle's saying. Jeez. So 2 away. Chavez still at second, and here's Reyes. And Bob Apodaca is going to make a trip to the mound. And perhaps they'll walk Reyes and pitch to Loduca.
10-3.
Who knows? He is going to the mound. Here's Ray King, the portly left-hander. Oh! I thought pinstripes were supposed to be slimming. Chad Bradford getting ready in the Mets bullpen.
This broadcast is deteriorating real quick.
Well, we appreciate all the folks staying up late with us tonight.
They got nothing better to do.
No, they're just enjoying the ball game.
Enjoying a 10-3 Met win.
Well, it's not over yet.
Not over yet. I
It's
understand.
the top of the 7th.
With the rate we're going, it might be 4 o'clock in the morning for this one's over and back in New York.
The Mets might set records by the end of this game. You never know. You wouldn't want to miss a single one. Well, if Reyes can get a triple here, then maybe he'll get himself a cycle tonight. So there's always something to stay up for. And Corpus misses 1-1. Now Reyes has had himself another big night, a double and a home run. Over the last 6 games, he has 13 hits. He just has not let up at all. Willie Randolph referred to him tonight as the Energizer Bunny. Said he just keeps on going. And he has. Think about it, other than the hand injury that kept him out for 10 days around the All-Star break, Reyes has been out there every day, and he just never seems to lose energy.
Well, that was the one pitch that gives Reyes trouble, that bad slider down and in. But I don't think Corpus has the consistency to make that pitch twice in a row.
And he gets Reyes with the fastball to end the inning. So Corpus did a nice job working around the defensive mistake. His first strikeout. 7th inning stretch time in the Colorado Rockies. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mets with a 10-3 lead. And the Rockies outfield defense has left something to be desired tonight.
Well, we're going to give you a montage here, folks. And I'm not going to add anything more to it. You can look for yourself.
Brad Hobb with 2 diving attempts, both wound up being triples. And then for good measure,
I got it, you take it.
And he wasn't the only one. I mean, first inning, Corey Sullivan let Delgado's double go over his head.
Well, we didn't have enough time to get those in.
So Chad Bradford will take over the pitching. Steve Trachsel, you know, believe it or not, Trachsel, we were talking about how he's had 6 wins this year in non-quality starts. He had a quality start tonight.
He pitched himself out of some jams. This could have been a lot worse. I mean, 6 innings. Gave up, what, 7, 8 hits?
8 hits, 3 runs.
3 runs. The bottom line. I'm sure he's not happy with the 8 hits. 6 strikeouts.
That ties his season high. And he kept the ball in the ballpark. Todd Helton 0 for 1. He's walked twice, and he lines one right at Sean Green, and that's the first out. So Helton retired 1 away. That looked like Troy Aikman lookalike.
Brother
of Aikman.
Troy looks a little better than that. Oh,
on his best days. Garrett Atkins is 3 for 3 tonight. He's singled 3 times and driven in a run. And Bradford misses inside 1-1.
Well, let's change the subject. How good is this Met bullpen of late?
Well, when you consider that they lost the guy who was having the best year of everybody in that bullpen a month ago, you could not have conceived that they would be this good after the loss of Sanchez.
It just seems like everybody stepped up to the plate and just elevated their game, particularly Heilman. Bradford's been good all year, and he's been particularly good coming in and getting the Mets out of jams. But Feliciano has stepped it up. Oliver's been consistent in that middle relief role all year.
To third base. And Wright makes the play, and Atkins retired for the first time tonight. And throw in the fact that for the last month, Billy Wagner has been more dominant than he's been all season.
Absolutely. He has been everything Bill. And it seems like he got better with the more work he got. And Willie's been using him more because they had more closer games where he's had to use him. And he just seemed to get a rhythm. And before where Wagner could come in and get a little wild, he kind of tuned it up.
Back to the mound, and Bradford makes the play on Holiday, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Chad Bradford. So the Mets bullpen continues to shine. That's Dinger, the Colorado Rockies mascot, a dinosaur of sorts, and a purple one to boot. The Mets came to Denver tonight hoping that David Wright's call reversal yesterday would get him going. Well, it appears it has. A run-scoring single and then a 2-run triple past the diving Brad Hopp. It's been a 3 RBI night for Wright. Carlos Beltran with a home run and a double has career highs in home runs and RBIs now. Carlos Delgado even chipped in with a triple, which Hopp couldn't get to. Colorado defense contributed, but the Met offense has been in high gear tonight. 10 runs and 14 hits here at Coors Field. And now Ray King will take over the pitching as we go to the 8th.
Well, the veteran left-hander with St. Louis last year. Now over here in Colorado, having a good year for pitching here at Mile High.
That was the old place.
Yes.
It still is a Mile High.
Yes.
We showed the purple line before.
In the upper tank.
You know, when the Rockies first started playing in 1993 and they played their first 2 seasons at Mile High Stadium, they would routinely draw 70,000 people a game. They set attendance records those first 2 seasons. And when they first had drawn up the plans for Coors Field, they were going to make this about a 42,000 seat stadium. But because they were drawing such enormous crowds, they felt as though they could make this place bigger. And so Loduca strikes out to start the 8th, so they built it with 50,000 seats. Well, the problem is now they don't draw nearly as well as they used to, and the ballpark a lot of time looks very, very empty.
Are we getting Affleck here? Oh, there he is.
Oh, the duck is back.
Came from the other direction.
Half a duck anyway. Affleck trivia answer. Beltran, 11 straight games with a run. Derek Bell is the guy whose record he's tied. And Beltran grounds out for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 out and nobody on. So Carlos tomorrow will have a chance to set a new club record for his own. Just one of many that he's likely to etch into the book this year. Well, here's Delgado, who has a double and a triple tonight. He has 2 RBIs, 95 for the year.
Delgado, the first 15 games of the month, was hitting 133, 6 for 45. But since in the second half, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. Yes, I'm right. We're almost in September, aren't we?
August 29th today.
Yeah, so I was correct. Yes, 6 for 45 the first half of August. But since then, now he's 8. What is he today? He's 2 for 3. Another big night.
Off the fists of foul ball. He's 18 for 38 now in the last 11 games.
Almost 500.
474 average.
And he's been 19 RBIs going into this game. He's driven in 2, so he's having a heck of a month.
21 RBIs in the last 11 games, including this one. And 7 home runs over that stretch. So this is the hottest he's been since April.
Yes.
And the Mets hope he carries it right to the end of October. One and 2 to Delgado.
Well, when you got 80 wins and looking like you're going to go in your 81st win, on your way to win 100 games, you're smiling.
A lot of smiles in that dugout this year. Strikes out Delgado to end the inning. So Ray King comes on and throws a 1-2-3 inning, strikes out a couple. On to the bottom of the 8th at Coors Field. Mets with a big lead. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Brad Hopp has had himself about as miserable a night as you can have in the outfield. He's gone 1 for 3 at the plate. But he's had 2 balls go by him and 1 drop in front of him. And this is a guy who he's always had a very strong arm. Didn't have a great reputation as a defensive outfielder until a couple of years ago when he did quite a bit of work with Dave Collins, who is the Rockies' first base coach and outfield instructor. And Hopp has reached the point where he's not a bad outfielder, but he's just had a terrible night. Dave Collins, a great base stealer in his day, and an excellent defensive outfielder.
Played with the Reds, Oakland A's.
He stole 80 bases in a season.
He was a very fine player. Leadoff hitter.
1 and 2 to Hopp. And you look at Dave now, he looks like he can still play. He's in great shape.
He could fly, too.
Delgado. Bradford gets over to cover, and Hopp retired, 1 away. So Bradford's retired the first 4 to face him. 1 out and nobody on. Toyota National League scoreboard. Pirates beat the Cubs in 11. Phillies won at Washington. Ryan Howard 48 homers, tying Mike Schmidt's Philly record. Despite 2 Barry Bonds home runs, the Braves win. What's that? 727 now for Bonds. Houston wins at home against Milwaukee. Florida 9 straight wins now as Scott Olsen gets his 11th win. Mark Mulder takes it on the chin again. Padres leading at Arizona, and the Reds trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, leading at LA.
So still a lot of important games going on as far as that wild card is concerned in the National League. And
in amongst the trees, that would be Jose Mason getting ready in the Rockies bullpen. Just peek between the leaves. You can find him. It's like, where's Waldo? Good breaking ball by Bradford to get ahead on your Torrealba 0-2. Torrealba 0 for 3 tonight. He's got a 9-game hitting streak on the line here. Just missed the outside corner, 1-2. Well, Steve Trachsel, 6 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 100 pitches, in line to go 14-5 on the year. Got his ERA under 5. It's now at 4.98. 2-2 to Torrealba. And Bradford, after getting ahead 0-2, goes to a full count. Pitcher spot is due up next for the Rockies. That's why they've got Mesa up in the bullpen. And Luis Gonzalez out on deck to pinch hit. And he walked him. So Bradford, after getting ahead 0-2, walks Torrealba. That's the first base runner against Chad. And Luis Gonzalez will be the pinch hitter. You know, if it weren't confusing enough that they have a player named Luis Gonzalez, who is not the guy everybody thinks of when they think of Luis Gonzalez, the Rockies also have a pitcher in their farm system named Luis Gonzalez.
That's a problem.
It really is.
Well, we don't have to. That doesn't concern us, thank goodness. We're here 3 days. We're out of here.
Yeah, but what if they all show up on the same day? 1-0 to Gonzalez. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Chris Cotter with you from Coors Field. It's midnight in Manhattan, but we're just getting started here in Denver.
And all you folks that joined us from the Letterman Show, the Mets are walloping Colorado.
Who was the guest tonight for Dave?
No clue.
What was the top 10 list? 1-1 to Gonzalez. Well, the Mets have rolled to 10 tonight, and they have been on the top of the list all year long. Trying tonight to make it 10 wins in their last 11 games, and their 81st win of the year. One and one to Gonzalez, and he takes low and in. Tomorrow night, Dave Williams will make his third start as a Met. He's done a very nice job filling a hole in the rotation. Josh Fogg will go for the Rockies. And the Mets will get their second look at Oliver Perez on Thursday night. And that's the stunning part of this recent hot streak, is that the three guys you project as your top three starters going into the postseason, well, none of the three of them are pitching right now. And yet the Mets keep on winning.
Well, they're scoring runs, and the bullpen has been solid. I mean, if you're a starter, you go 5 innings, the bullpen can pick it up.
And if you're scoring 9-10 runs a game, it's hard to lose. And that brings up an interesting point. You know, we talk all the time about the postseason being dominated by starting pitching. But you know what? It's not always the case. Sometimes teams hit in the postseason. Down toward the hole, run down by Valentin, and Delgado gets back to the bag. That's the second out as Torrealba moves up to second. I mean, I remember 1969 as a classic example. You know, the Mets lived on their starting pitching all through the 1969 season, and they went into the postseason and played the Braves in the League Championship Series, and the Met pitchers were awful. But they won games 9-5 and 11-6, and they swept the Braves 3 straight. I mean, sometimes it works out that way.
So the Braves pitching was more awful.
True.
They had Pat Jarvis then, I believe. Was their big 20-game winner that year in '69. Phil Niekro. I can't think of any more.
The guy who pitched the bets for the Mets in that series came out of the bullpen. It was Nolan Ryan. Down to third, and David Wright makes the play, and that retires the side as he throws out Varmus. So 2 hitless innings for Chad Bradford, and we head to the 9th at Coors Field.
With this Chevrolet Baseball Night New York update, I'm Matt Yaloff. Giants and Braves. Barry Bonds goes deep not once, but twice. He has 727 career home runs. He's 28 away from tying Hank Aaron, but the Braves beat San Francisco 13-8. Gary?
All right, Matt. I'm wondering, what Bonds is going to do next year. Clearly, he's not going to catch Aaron this year. He's 28 away. He's not had a very good year. He's going to be 43 years old next year. Does he come back? Does he come back with an American League team? What's he going to do next year?
Someone going to sign him? Is someone going to sign him? That's my big question.
Well, for a team that's downtrodden, say a Kansas City, somebody like that, he could be a great drawing card, but is that what he wants to do?
I don't think Kansas City would want him. The team in the Midwest, I don't think so.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens, because he's going to end the season, 20-some home runs away from the all-time record, with a stain on him, wearing a scarlet letter of sorts, and it's going to be very intriguing to see what happens. Does not look as though the Giants plan to bring him back. Here's David Wright leading off the 9th inning. 3 RBI night for David. A single, a triple, a stolen base, a run scored, 3 RBIs as he tries to fight his way out of a slump.
You got to be happy with tonight for David Wright, 2 for 3 with 3 ribeye steaks. 96 RBIs for the year. And Jose Mesa falls behind him 2-0. We have a change of leadership in the American League wild card. White Sox won, Twins lost, so the White Sox now a half game in front. Who threw the shutout for Kansas City against Minnesota?
To center field, and a base hit for Wright, his 3rd hit of the game. We'll have to find that out for you.
I'm looking it up right now. Don't bother. I'll find it.
You're right on top of it.
You've got too much going on here. This game's too important. You're doing the play-by-play. I'll handle it.
I'm going to put the clock on you here.
Undetermined.
All that work. They get you every time. Here's Sean Green. Mets now have 15 hits in the game, and Green has 2 of them. He's driven in a run. 2 hits apiece for Reyes, Beltran, Delgado, and Green. 3 hits for Wright as Aaron Howman gets set to pitch the bottom of the 9th. And a big "Let's Go Mets" chant gets started in Denver.
Ruthless.
And there aren't enough passionate Rocky fans to shout them down.
Well, all the Rocky fans left.
We've seen Met fans over the years follow the team to various venues. I don't remember ever seeing a contingent of Met fans here in Denver before. Nothing as sizable as we have here tonight.
Well, I tell you, if I was a family man with kids growing up, this would be in the summer, this would be a great city to bring your family.
And a lot of people apparently have. We've seen tons of Met fans come out from New York last week before school starts for a lot of kids. Perfect place to vacation and watch the team play.
Go up in the mountains during the day and watch a ball game at night.
Got Six Flags in town here. All sorts of things to do in Denver. Great restaurants.
Oh, look at that. Holy cow.
And they're in good voice tonight. Green lays off, and it's 2-2.
He's rubbing it in.
Well, you guys were good at that. Valentine to follow.
That's a very good point.
There's nothing wrong with a little arrogance as long as it's well placed. I mean, think about it from a Met fan's perspective. They've had Yankee fans rubbing it in their face for years.
Well, there could very possibly be another Subway Series. Very possible.
Well, the Yankees have a lot tougher road to the World Series than the Mets might have. And let's face it, there are a lot better teams in the American League for them to have to knock off to get there. Three and 2 to Green. Forty-year-old Jose Mesa.
Are you getting hungry?
No, actually, I had a pretty big dinner. You?
I'm starved.
You're always starved. There's ball 4. The Mets have 2 men on. Well, you know, they have really good food here at the ballpark. Would you like me to go out and get you some?
I'm going to head over to the steakhouse after this.
Because they've got really good fajitas in the back.
And I'm going to order a bottle of wine with my daughter and my wife, and I'm going to savor it.
Savor
after this debacle. this debacle of a game.
You're saying you haven't enjoyed the quality of play tonight?
No, I have not. But I will enjoy the quality of the red wine.
Would you like to have tonight's winning pitcher pick it out for you, or are you going to do that by yourself?
I'll pick it out myself.
Okay. Didn't know. You felt as though your wine picking credentials were up to snuff. Nothing in one to Valentine. You thinking of a red or a white?
Oh, red. A big, hearty, heavy, spicy red. Maybe a red Zin.
Wow.
My stomach is growling. I'm so hungry.
That's out there. 0-1 to Valentine, who's 1 for 4 on the night. You thinking ribeye? You thinking filet? What do you
No, I'm not going to eat heavy. I never eat heavy at night.
Well, you said steakhouse, so I just made the assumption.
I may drink heavy, but I'll never eat heavy at night.
Okay, thanks for sharing. See you in the morning. Oh, a couple of what's that? Chicken. I see. 1 and 2 to Valentine. I see you with the shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail and a salad. Very, very good. That's a norm, or a little crab cocktail.
You want to go low fat.
What does that guy do?
Chicken coop?
He's cleaning the grill.
Yeah, it's almost time to go home. Mets looking to tack on. They lead 10-3 in the ninth. They've already cleaned the Rockies grill tonight.
There's nobody out.
You noticed that. Popped up. And Holiday hoping he can catch it. That's the first out. Nothing's been routine in the Rockies outfield tonight. Hey, you've probably heard us explain that this September the WB11 is changing into the new CW11, but here's something you might not know. Starting September 18th, Jim Belushi is bringing his Laugh Out Loud family comedy, According to Jim, to the new CW11. So look for According to Jim weekdays this fall on the CW11. Here's Andy Chavez, who got a gift double his last time up. Fell in front of Brad Hopp in right field. Andy's 1 for 4 on the night. 1-0 to Chavez. I don't think this is on your gastronomic agenda.
No.
Footlongs. They look very nice, though.
They do.
Nicely grilled.
No.
I'm telling you, the food in this ballpark is very good.
It is?
Yeah. Not as good as San Francisco, but not bad. This is a great ballpark.
I agree.
Very fan friendly. Right on the edge of downtown Denver. Walking distance from.
It's perfect.
A lot of hotels and offices. The short might be a double play. Barmas to Matsui, who makes the turn and gets Chavez, and that ends the inning. So Jose Mesa took his sweet time, but got himself 3 outs. And a little dessert for Mr. Hernandez after the shrimp cocktail and the salad. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by PartyPoker.net. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Jeep, the all-new 7-passenger Jeep Commander. It's your world. Take command. By Crank, starring Jason Statham. Raise your adrenaline in theaters everywhere September 1st. And by the New York State Smokers Quit line. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free help and advice. Start your smoke-free life today. Well, there's a hardy Met fan who has made it through 8.5 innings of a not particularly well-played game. Aaron Heilman on to try and finish it off, and Ryan Spilborghs takes ball 1.
Well, you see Heilman's numbers, and they are deceptive. He has stepped up his game with the loss of Duaner Sanchez. His ERA was in the high mid-4s, and he's slowly decreasing that ERA, and has really done a terrific job now as a setup man. The lone setup man.
And Willie keeps insisting that the 8th inning does not necessarily belong to Heilman, and game protecting situations, but he's certainly gotten the majority of the calls, the vast majority. 2-2 to Spilborghs.
We got a late night flight going to Houston, don't we? After
we got a couple more games here first.
I mean, Thursday after the game, and we don't get into Houston until 3:30, which means by the time we get to the hotel, that's a long drive. We're not going to be in bed till around 4:30, 4:45.
And that's a new experience for you?
No, I've done that before, but that's asking for trouble. You don't recover from that, even if it's a night game.
3-2. Are you more concerned about the players or about the announcers?
Oh, I'm not even concerned about anybody. I'm fine. I'll just sit up here and talk with you. It's easy. I'm tired. I'm just working my jaws. They're the ones that got to play.
And you're doing a real good job of it. Still 3-2 on Spilborghs.
Well, thank goodness. Probably no one's watching. Look, no one's home watching right now.
Oh, there are people watching and hanging on your every word. In fact, we're told that our website keeps fielding more and more Ask the Booth questions as we go along, as we cover a wider range of topics.
Do you have a website?
Do I have my own website?
Yes.
No.
Neither do I.
Would you like to?
No.
It's real easy to do.
No, thank you.
Spilborghs fouls it off.
That's the last thing I want is a website.
But they can reach you at sny.tv and ask you anything.
Right. They can?
Oh, yeah. Ask the Booth.
But I don't have to answer. I would never have a website.
And it's ball 4 to Spilborghs. So Heilman issues a leadoff walk. Let's check out the AOL game summary. Carlos Beltran got the Mets started way back in the first inning with his 39th home run, and the Mets have never fallen behind. Although Steve Trachsel was on the edge a couple of times, he made big pitches in big spots to keep the lead. And then the Mets blew it open with 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, helped out by David Wright, who's had himself a nice bounce back night. 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Here's Kaz Matsui. Matsui, his first 2 times up in this game, had base hits, stole second, and scored. Since then, he's grounded out twice, so he's 2 for 4. But Matsui off to a nice start in his first week with the Rockies. And Kaz drives one to right field. Back goes Green, got turned around, and it's off the wall. Spilborghs to third. Matsui heads to second and slides in with a double. So Kaz Matsui with his 3rd hit of the night. And the Rockies have 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
3 for 5 on the night. Kaz. Fastball down the middle. Oh, didn't get it out enough. Gets over Green's head off the base of the wall.
Well, this has got to be a feel-good game for Matsui, even though his team is down 10-3. And so here's Todd Helton, who's 0 for 2 and a couple of walks tonight. That's with a 7-run lead in the bottom of the 9th, and Heilman just trying to make his way through it. And he misses with the changeup to Helton. Popped up. And Reyes is under it. And there's the first out. So Helton pops up. 1 away. Runners still at 2nd and 3rd. Geico Sports Night, the news and information source for all New York area sports fans. Geico Sports Night covers the stories that New York sports fans care about. 6 p.m., 10 p.m., and 1 a.m. every night. Only on Sportsnet New York. Here's Garrett Atkins, who's had a good night. 3 for 4. And he's driven in a run. You know, ever since the guy started cleaning the grill, it seems as though the crowd has diminished.
They're just all Met fans here, basically, now. They got nowhere to go. They want to go back to the hotel room? I don't think so.
I just thought that maybe the fans ran out of things to eat. toward the gap in right center field. That's going to split the outfielders and bounce to the fence. 2 runs will score as Spilborghs and Matsui come home on a 2-run double by Garrett Atkins. And now the Met lead is 10-5. So Atkins with his 4th hit of the night. And he has a 3 RBI game.
He's a low ball hitter here. And that ball is inside corner, and he inside outs it, and one hops the wall here. That's decent power right there. Got to pitch him upstairs.
Now they can talk all about humidors and tall grass. This has been a Coors Field redux. 25 hits, 15 runs. Here's Matt Holliday, and he takes a strike. Holliday 1 for 4.
4 for 5. Atkins' 91st RBI, 40th double.
Well, Atkins and Holliday, they've got 2 very good-looking young hitters in the middle of that order. 1-1 to Holliday. Matt Holliday was a guy whose father was the baseball coach at Oklahoma State. And when Holliday was growing up, Jeremy Burnitz played for Oklahoma State, and he babysat for Holliday. Imagine having Jeremy Burnitz as your babysitter.
No.
You think they had fun together? I bet they did.
Oh, man.
Dude.
What did I do wrong? Promise to be good.
2-1 to Holliday.
There's Dino.
Dino?
In the background.
That's Dinger. Dino was on the Flintstones. You know? This Dinger doesn't make any noise.
It's a Triceratops.
Okay, see? A purple one with big eyes. Along the right field line, Green trying to get there, but it lands foul untouched. 3-2 to Holliday. Matt Holliday had a chance to be a college football player, but the Rockies gave him a big contract so that he wouldn't go back to football. And that's turned out to be a good deal for them. What do you think of Dinger? He's no Fredberg.
No. He's a nice Triceratops.
Reyes fields the grounder. And he throws out Holliday, 2 men down. So Howman trying to stagger to the finish here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Has 1 more out to secure before Keith can head off to his red zin and his shrimp cocktail.
And a salad.
Don't forget the salad. Eat those greens. Brad Hopp, the final hope for the Rockies. 1 for 4 on the night.
Well, Dinger's earning his money. He's still jazzed up.
Well, he's the Energizer dinosaur. Is it a he?
It should have been a Stegosaurus.
Then the kids wouldn't want to go near him. Be all covered with spikes.
Those plates. In that dangerous tail.
Yeah, you want to whip that thing around. And Howman now 1 strike away. Well, we'll be back with you tomorrow night. We'll have some more fun. Maybe it'll be a little quicker game.
Hopefully we'll have a better game. Same outcome, but better game.
Dave Williams against Josh Fogg tomorrow night. Howman ahead on Hopp 0-2. And Hopp's miserable night comes to an end as he strikes out for the 3rd time, and Howman puts the capper on it. A record-setting night for Carlos Beltran, his 39th home run, more than he's ever hit in a season. As the Mets overwhelm the Rockies and win the opener of the series and drop their magic number for clinching the National League East to 17. A 10-5 victory for Beltran and the Mets. A big night for David Wright as well. Wright with 3 hits and 3 runs batted in. As Howman gets the final outs to secure it for Steve Trachsel. Trachsel gets his 14th win against 5 losses as the Mets take the opener of the series here in Colorado 10-5. Be sure to join us for our next broadcast tomorrow night at 9 o'clock as the Mets play game 2 of their series with the Rockies. Coming up next, it's Nissan Postgame Live. Mets made their final trip out of the Eastern time zone. Plenty of Met fans on hand. The Mets, who beat up on Byung-Hyun Kim in New York, did it again tonight. Carlos Beltran's 39th home run, a new career high. Souvenirs for all, and a presidential run for Wright. 3 hits and 3 RBIs for him. Steve Trachsel gets his 14th win. Keith's got dessert, and Green keeps on hitting. Now for Keith Hernandez and Chris Connor, I'm Gary Cohen. Let's go to Matt Yaloff in our Sportsnet New York studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. Coverage of the Mets continues here on SNY with Nissan Postgame Live. Ron Darling is here. He'll break down tonight's game. We'll also have plenty of reaction from the Mets clubhouse, including postgame comments from Willie Randolph. Sports New York comes your way after Nissan Postgame Live with continuing Mets coverage. But after a break, it's Nissan Postgame Live with Ron Darling. Stick around. Different city, same result. Mets win again, make it 10 of 11. The magic number is down to 17. Ron Darling, Matt Yaloff here with Nissan Postgame Live. And this game tonight in Colorado had Steve Trachsel's fingerprints all over it.
Well, of course it did. 14 wins now, and the Mets, of course, scored 10 runs.
Yeah, how about it? Steve Trachsel gets it done. Pitches not too bad, and we'll take a look at the highlights now, and supported once again by just a juggernaut of an offense. Here we are, first inning, Byung-Hyun Kim facing Carlos Beltran, and Beltran, they talk about the humidor, they talk about the lower scoring. No one told Carlos Beltran, number 39, a career high for Beltran, and it's a 1-0 Mets lead. He is locked in. Carlos Delgado now, he's as hot as any player in baseball. Look at this, Corey Sullivan, late jump, can't catch up to it. They should know this outfield.
Yes, the home center fielder shouldn't make that mistake, but Sullivan did.
All right, that brings up David Wright. You know he's slumping, but this one fights it off, drops it into Wright. It's an RBI for David Wright.
A couple of fortunate hits. One hit the bag yesterday. This jam shot RBI.
Steve Trachsel looking for his 14th victory, and here he is on the mound, bottom of the first. Kaz Matsui, remember Kaz leading off for the Rockies, and look at that, drops it in there to left field. So Matsui's been hitting very well for Colorado since his call-up from the minors. Next batter, Todd Helton. Matsui off to the races, and he is in. Paul LaDuca can't get him. After walking Todd Helton, Garrett Atkins. You like this guy?
Garrett Atkins, I do. I like his swing. He started it last year, replaced Vinny Castilla at third base.
2-1 Mets, so Colorado's on the board. Trachsel digs in. Matt Holliday, another future star perhaps, swinging. Brad Hopp goes down swinging, 2 outs, and then Trachsel gets Yorvit Torrealba, hit a fly ball to left field. Andy Chavez is there, makes the easy grab, so Trachsel gets out of some early trouble. Top of the second, 2 outs. After striking out 3 consecutive Mets, Kim walks Steve Trachsel. That's a no-no.
With 2 outs, he walked him.
And then it's Jose Reyes who makes him pay. His 16th home run. That place is cavernous, but Reyes hits it out.
What humidor? The ball was flying out of there.
Just they were jacked up. 4-1 Mets. Here's Matsui again. We're in the 3rd inning, and Matsui, this time to right field. Another single for Matsui. Maybe the change of scenery is working out nice. After another Matsui stolen base and another Todd Helton walk, Matt Holliday down the left field line. Matsui comes in. So again, Trachsel pitching with a lead. They can't really shut down the Rockies.
What he does is he gets a lot of base runners, but when he gets them on, he seems to come up with a big pitch and big situation.
Move to the 5th. It's a 4-3 game. Jose Reyes deep to right, looking for his second long ball. Doesn't happen. Off the wall. Reyes into second base for the double. He's psyched up about it. Can't keep this guy off base. He's approaching his total bases for all of last year, and there's another month of the season left. And then it's an intentional walk, and wouldn't you know it, it's David Wright with 1st and 3rd. Can he come through? Ronnie.
Well, the great thing about Wright, when he starts to come out of these slumps, he hits the ball to right field. And Brad Hopp did the hop flop in right field for most of the night. This triple, 2 RBIs for David Wright coming out of that slump.
Yeah, and Kim's night is over, so it's Tom Martin now. Tom Martin played for a little bit on the Mets, but really, Sean Green, there's no nostalgia there. He's just ripping a base hit to right. It's 7-3. 6th inning now. We go to the 6th. It's still 7-3 after singles by Trachsel and Paul LaDuca. Guess who's up? Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran from the other side of the plate. And same result. Carlos Beltran just misses a home run. It's 8-3, and the route is officially on. Carlos Delgado. Also, can you pitch to these guys right now?
Well, you can't right now, and if you don't make the plays in the outfield, you're going to really be in trouble. Remember when Colorado was in Shea, they had a lot of trouble in left field with Holiday. Outfield play has hurt them.
All right, so the Mets win it. They win the opener of this series. 10-5 is your final score. 81-49. My math tells me that's 32 games over 500.
You did well in that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm assuming that I'm right. The next best National League team is 8 games over 500. That's the Cardinals right now, pending the outcome of the Dodgers game here. I mean, the discrepancy here between Mets and the rest of the league is getting ridiculous.
Well, the Mets are the class of the National League. Simple as that. And the other teams are struggling really just to keep pace. You see the wild card race. We've shown it to you before. Everyone's in it, but is anyone any good? And the Mets, though, every single night proved that they are that good. They get nice starting pitching. Their relief pitching has been great all year long. And that lineup really is starting to come together.
Pretty ridiculous that Cliff Floyd is still out and David Wright has been slumping, and they're doing what they're doing. What is the potential of this lineup if everyone is healthy and hitting at the same time?
Think about this. Cliff Floyd could be your 8th place hitter. I mean, that's the kind of team and the kind of lineup they have. So watch out the rest of the National League.
Yeah, it's really an American League team when you're talking about the lineup, 1 through 8, no doubt. Still ahead on Nissan Postgame Live, Ron comes back. I'll come back with him to break down tonight's game. We go back to Coors Field for a little analysis from Keith Hernandez. And, of course, Willie Randolph chimes in, as he does after each and every game, with his comments on the latest Mets win. It's Nissan Postgame Live, taking you to 1 o'clock when Sports New York comes your way. Back here on Nissan Postgame Live, Ron Darling, Matt Yaloff here in New York City. Keith Hernandez at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Keith, over and over and over, we talk about Jose Reyes, because he continues to impress. 3 guys on this team may finish the year with 100 RBIs. He may finish with 80 or more. That could even be more impressive than the 100.
Well, he's certainly having a terrific year, and the other guys there in the middle of the order, Beltran obviously having an MVP year. Delgado red hot now, but Jose Reyes, when he gets on base, the Mets score runs, and he had another big night tonight. Impressive off-field home run, the 2-run shot. He's just, like you guys said, he's got a shot for 80 RBI. How many runs is he going to score? My goodness, he might score 135, 40 runs.
Yeah, he's been amazing, and he might score 135, 140 runs, but the guy that they were kind of worried about, he was in a little bit of a slump, of course, was David Wright tonight, and it was nice to see him, the stats, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. That's great, but it's nice to see him go to right field.
Well, he's been trying to go to right field and really set that way, as you can see, Ronnie. You're watching the game. I can't believe you're still in the studio at this hour. But anyway, excuse my cough here and the hot in the air up here. But it's certainly a good sign. 3 RBIs tonight for David Wright. Excuse me. And he has been slumping. He got 3 hits tonight, so that's a good sign for the Mets.
Hey, during the game, Keith, you really talked about Paul LaDuca and his professional approach at the plate. The little things he does, the cliche is it doesn't show up in the box score. Does every great team or every really good team have a Paul LaDuca type somewhere in their lineup?
Well, not everybody can be Barry Bonds or an Albert Pujols. You've got to have role players in your lineup, and LaDuca is certainly that. He's a 300 hitter, hitting over 300 this season. He's the guy in the second position that is the professional hitter, gets the runners over. He did it tonight when the game was only a 1-run game. That set it up for Beltran, although he failed at that time to drive him in. But he has been, I think, the unsung hero of this team, kind of overshadowed by this. Really, it's a team full of superstars.
All right, Keith Hernandez at Coors Field. Thank you for your input there. Game 1 in the books. Mets win it. Keith Hernandez at Coors Field. Now, Steve Trachsel, again, another win. Steve Trachsel settled in nicely. This wasn't one of these starts where he struggled for the entire time and got the win. A little trouble early, but he got into a nice groove.
Well, I think what he does usually is that he gets a lot of base runners via the walk or the base hit. But what he's done this year, different than other years, he's been able to come back. In the 3rd inning, he had 2 on. He came out with a strikeout, and then he faced Jorvit Torrealba. And see how he made the pitches inside, a curveball, and then went back inside. That's nice pitching jammed Torrealba. Now he's 1 out away from getting out of the inning. And what does he do? He strikes out Corey Sullivan. This is classic Steve Trachsel. When the people get on base, when the pressure hits the fan, he gets better, not worse.
The pressure hits the fan.
Yes, exactly.
When the pressure hits the fan. I hate when that happens. 14-5, 6 innings, 8 hits. And you know what's interesting there is the 6 strikeouts and 2 walks, because for the season, you're talking basically about a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's a nice sign.
It's a nice sign. It means that he's going after the hitters a little more. And it means that his stuff was a little better tonight, especially that split finger.
The Mets box score, and you know what? Where do you start? I guess you start with the players you enjoy watching. And for these Mets lately, you pretty much enjoy watching everybody. Carlos Beltran has scored a run now in 11 consecutive games. That ties a team record. David Wright, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, 96 on the season. David Wright has 96, and that's with this slump. So he's well over 100 if he wasn't slumping.
Well, look at all these numbers. There's a lot of crooked numbers there, and there are a lot of crooked numbers in the box score tonight. Mets had scored all their runs in 4 innings, 2 innings of 2 runs, 2 innings of 3 runs.
It's balanced from top to bottom. As far as the Rockies are concerned, the table setters really did their job at the top 3. But the middle of the order, Holiday, Hop, Torrealba, and Sullivan, combined to leave 19 guys on base tonight. So clearly the Mets pitchers, Trachsel mostly, handled the meat of the order, and that's key in a big ballpark.
He did. Matsui had a nice game. You know, he came in, scored 3 runs, had 3 hits, but Trachsel was the best when it counted against that tough lineup.
Steve Trachsel wins again. We keep saying it over and over and over. We just re-cue the show from 5 days ago when Nissan Postgame Live returns. A sneak peek at what's coming up on Sports New York. Plus, we have highlights from around MLB on a Tuesday night. We're in Manhattan. We're coming right back.
Like everybody got involved tonight. Real team effort at the plate, huh?
Yes, you like to see that here. Good place to hit. A lot of room out there in those gaps, so we took advantage of it tonight.
Trachsel work himself out of a few jams.
Yeah, he seemed like he was going to bend there for a second, but didn't break. And, you know, when we scored, you know, you like to always make sure you put a 0 up there, and he was able to not let them get back in the game, right on the edge there. And we kept scoring runs for him. He's been very fortunate this year, but you always got to have 1 or 2 guys that kind of run out there and they get that instant offense. And he's been one of those guys. 14 wins. He's been as solid as anyone, you know, as far as being consistent with giving us a chance to win. So, yeah, he made some good pitches at the right time. Got to have some tough jams, and able us to come back and you know, widen the gap a little bit.
Happy to set the tone as well early. I mean, once again, first inning runs on the road. You seem to just continue that trend.
Well, we feed off that every time. I mean, Jose gets us going, and you know, Leduca moves guys around, and we all kind of just keep adding on. It's just nice to set the tone, set the tempo of the game, and when we do that, we can get off and running. And it's a perfect example tonight. We kept adding on and got some extra runs at the end there, and just was able to save our bullpen a little bit. Bradford came and did a nice job, and Aaron needed to get some pitches in, get some throwing in, so he helped close it up for us. So nice first win. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Beltran set career highs for homers. I'll say it eventually. Career highs for homers and RBIs tonight. You've seen him play for years. Is this the best you've ever seen him? Is this the best year you've ever seen him have?
I would think so. I mean, you know, he's matured a lot, and I saw him early in his Kansas City days, and he's a lot better player than he was then. And you know, he got in a nice little run in Houston at one time where he just got hot. But yeah, he's starting to really show everyone what kind of great overall talent that he is. You know, I mean, he's got he's comfortable this year. He's got some good support around him, and he's just taking advantage of the opportunities he gets. You know, he's playing solid defense. I mean, hitting for power. You know, he just having one of those years that you expect to have out of him. You know, when you look at his overall talent, these are the kind of things that he's capable of doing. So, you know, we gotta keep him focused like that and continue to play well the rest of the season.
Was David's night kind of a representation of the progress that he's been making?
Well, it just, you know, staying through the middle is the big thing. I always think David is always going to hit if he just stays, you know, the other way. And he got a couple hits on the line, and the last ball up the middle was another classic example of how he needs to hit. You know, I got to say all the time to you guys, we all forget that David's still very young and still learning how to hit. And you always look at the numbers and think that it's going to be that way every day or every year. He's got a lot to learn, and he's making adjustments when he has to, but he needs to be more consistent with it. So I said earlier before we started here, I mean, he's going to hit. It's just like Delgado and those other guys. I don't want to belabor the point, because when you play with a guy or when you're with a guy every day, you know that he's going to come through because he has a good, solid approach, and just something to talk about until he gets going. So, I'm not surprised. Just a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
It's 11 games now without an error.
Yes.
Is that more
let's talk about defense. That's what I'm most proud of. Yeah, you talk about offense and pitching, but especially our pitching wouldn't be as effective as without the defense. And something we've talked about all season long since spring training, and the guys are making the plays and taking a lot of pride in playing solid defense, and that's what you have to do. Good clubs always have it, and I think that as a group, collectively, we're really focusing on the importance of making plays, and it's contagious. So that gets me excited, more excited than anything else. Winning games are great, and you talk about pitching and offense, but defense is something that's always overlooked. It's something very, very important to the success of your ball club, and when we bring that every day, we got a chance to win, and we've shown that.
Indeed they have. The Mets win again. They've won 10 of 11. Ron and I come back here. More to do on Nissan Postgame Live. Don't go away. All right, back here with a quick look at the wild card standings in the NL. Ron, Phil's win. Marlins have won 9 in a row.
Reds have had a magical year. Piazza and the Padres are still there, but the Phillies and the Marlins, with their starting pitching, look like they could make a run in September.
Unbelievable, this thing. The Astros are only 3 back, and they're 4 under 500. Nissan play of the game comes to us from David Wright. David Wright brings us the Nissan play of the game. Top of the 5th. David Wright's been in a slump lately, but David Wright, he decides to go the other way. Right field. Why is going to right field such a key when righties are trying to get themselves out of slumps?
Well, it's important for him because he's staying on the ball. The problem he has is when he is hitting and not hitting properly, he is looking at that ball at the outside corner. He's swinging at it off the plate, and that's the pitch that can get him out. When he's inside-outing those pitches, that's when he does a lot better. And tonight, great example. Kind of a lucky hit when he drove a run in the first, but certainly not with the triple that Brad Hopp played into a triple, really.
All right, well, on Wednesday, he's going to have to do it against Josh Fogg. Josh Fogg goes against Dave Williams. We'll get a good look at Dave Williams again as he continues to fill a very nice role here for the New York Mets with Pedro down, El Duque down, and Tom Glavine down. That is a wrap for Nissan Postgame Live. For Ron Darling, I'm Matt Yaloff. Sports New York is coming up next with Steve Berthew and much more on the Mets and Rockies from Colorado. Enjoy.